Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
On Roughriders, plunge right through that line. March the ball on down the field, a touchdown every time.
We're on a winning streak. We're rolling. We keep playing this song. We're riding it until it bucks us. If you're watching the stream, you're going to have a disgruntled Luke Mullender joining us in minutes. He doesn't like this tune. He's going to come in. It is an all-new week of the Sports Cage. It's a short week. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Barney Shinkaruk, Derek Bidwell for the next 3 hours. We are going to be joined by Luke Mullender, colorman on our Rider broadcasts. Big win on the weekend, and he does not like that song. So we'll get to that. Hey, big news in British Columbia. They have a new starting quarterback, and it's not Nathan Rourke, because he would be the old starting quarterback. Yes, Vernon Adams allegedly is in this weekend. We're going to hear from the head coach of the BC Lions. We have some post-game of interest from that game Saturday at the Lions from our Riders. We'll hear that. Pats and Blades play tonight up in Saskatoon. We got SJHL talk. We got the SJHL report for Southie Mainline Chrysler, new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan. That's coming up. Arash Madani, Glenn Suter, man, a whole bunch more. Bidsy. We got Hilltops Thunder getting ready to go at it this weekend. PFC final. Oh, so much to get to. Is Luke still there? Are we waiting for Luke? We got Luke? Okay, I can't. I look on the screen there. I do not see Luke. Luke is with us, Derek. You were on the sideline for that victory. It was an old-fashioned sack beating, as we used to call it back in the day. I loved it. It's about time that the Riders broke out. What was the mood like on the sideline?
Right from the jump, naturally, they were very excited. Luke mentioned this during the broadcast, that he felt that the BC team was a little, melancholy, or didn't seem to be too fired up in the game, but he really didn't think that much of it. I think that's what you said at the time, Luke. And as it turned out, I think there was something to do with that. I mean, the Riders seemed to be fired up right from jump. They got a really nice break right off the hop that puts you in a pretty good mood and gets you fired up and really boosts your spirits and maybe dampens the spirits of the team that had that happen to them. But it seemed like they were a little off, and the Riders seemed to be fired up. They had all their guys going. I mean, whether it was, the return of A.J. Ouellette, which definitely doesn't hurt to have him come back and his energy, or maybe the BC Lions were just flat rolling into Saskatchewan. I don't know what it was, but the energy level on the Riders sidelines was palpable. You could feel it, and it was right from the start, and it carried all the way through with all the turnovers and everything that happened, and just more guys got into it, more guys got more animated, guys that normally aren't up and down the sidelines full of energy, and it was just contagious, and it just carried through.
What made you, Luke, think that BC came in a little flat? When did you notice it? What were your eyeballs saying?
I felt like they were really nonchalant and just very routine during warm-ups. And I think that, again, it's why I said on the air, like, hey, it might be nothing, but it just, you could really tell that there wasn't a lot of juice there in the BC Lions squad. But again, I think that, and I said this on air as well, and probably stick to it. I think the BC Lions screwed themselves when they went and signed Nathan Rourke and made him their starting QB. I think that it divided the locker room, and effort is you could see effort on film, and I don't know, just looked like a team that was going through the motions. The Saskatchewan Roughriders looked like a completely different squad, and you really saw it. You saw one team moving upwards, and you saw one team kind of continuing its descent down towards the bottom of the Canadian Football League standings. And I think that for as promising as this year was for the BC Lions, I would assume that Amar Doman's probably pretty concerned or maybe even disappointed in the way things have wound up. But again, you did it to yourself if you're the BC Lions. I think that's just everything that I related it to 2008. And I was talking with some of the fellas over the weekend with Darian Durant in town. In 2008, the entire locker room thought Darian Durant should be our starting quarterback, period. That was it. And it affected our mood. It affected the way we went about our work. It affected us during the playoff game that we ended up losing to BC. And so it kind of feels like that's happening a little bit. And I think that if BC wants any chance of beating the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I think they should come in here and start VA. I think he brings in a different type of energy level to the squad right now. And again, the other thing is Barney is other than Jameis Winston, right? Who's an entertainer. Like, he could be like the greatest heel / baby or baby face in the WWE. When have you ever seen a backup quarterback being the guy to hype up the whole team? Like, that clip came across TSN where VA's hyping the team up, and VA's not even the starter. It's just a weird dynamic, and I think the BC Lions need to work it out.
It's funny that you say you've kind of went through this. I think that is a huge part of this, that because a lot of people, maybe have been in locker rooms of whatever, hockey, baseball, football. But the first thing about a football team, there is way more than any other sport as far as people in a locker room. So your odds of having division are a lot better when something like this happens, Luke.
Totally. And if you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders, right, you don't feel sorry for anybody, right? And that's what came across in the game. They got soundly beaten. And I think that it was nice to see the Saskatchewan Roughriders continue to work on some of the things that are going to make them successful in the playoffs too. Because we talked about it, right, Barney, is when you take a team like the BC Lion, when there is Lions there, when there may be some division in the locker room and they may be looking for certain directions to head, when you're that other team, you need to pounce on that. And it wasn't necessarily about the BC Lions last game. It needs to continue to be about building on things that are going to make you successful in the playoffs, like sprinting to the football on defense, right? On executing on offense, and not just executing where you're kicking field goals all the time, getting the ball across the goal line, right? And continuing guys having to buy in. And you're seeing a lot of that with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it's a good thing. And now they have a bye week. You can continue to get healthy. You can continue to get guys back and roll from there.
Bidsy, you can go after the story. I got to ask this one more. But, Luke, when you see something, I can't remember the game exactly for the Riders, that it didn't. We talked about how the Riders needed to come big. They had to have a fast start, and then it was the exact opposite. And they could have folded tents, where a lot of crap teams will do that. The A.J. Allen play, he's in for Adam Auclair. The interception early for the Riders. Obviously, the place goes crazy. For us, it's awesome. That's also a sign, too, Luke, as you know, and you've talked about before, where good teams are going to rally and be like, hey, it's early in the game here. It's okay. So we spotted them 7. Not a big deal. For the Lions, it just seemed like, all right, snowball time now. And that brings up a really good point of what you saw before the game. Because if you're not going into anything with the right mindset, whether it's a meeting with executives at your business and something doesn't happen, it doesn't go the right way during that meeting or that presentation, well, then it's just like, now you're a dumpster fire. And I guess that makes sense of how the Lions didn't look engaged at all.
Well, here's probably the more important point if I'm anybody who's a BC Lions fan. The more important thing to be concerned about is that was a game in which that BC Lions team had an opportunity to take home field advantage away from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. One of the last buildings anybody wants to play in the CFL is Mosaic Stadium. It's a madhouse, regardless how many people are there. It is an absolute madhouse. The BC Lions had a chance to secure, right, to make the Riders get on the road, but they came out absolutely listless. For them to have an opportunity that they had, and also for them to avoid having to come back here. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how you weren't more prepared, how you came out looking slow. And again, if I'm Coach Corey Mace, I'm taking that shot. I'm taking that shot of AJ Allen right before he intercepts the football on the second play of the game, and I'm pinning it up on our locker room. And the reason why I'm doing that is because there's 4 Saskatchewan Roughrider defenders there. And it is exactly what you want your culture to be about. Sprinting to the football, showing great effort, and making the play when it pops up. But the only reason to make the play is because you were sprinting to the ball and giving great effort anyways.
If you're watching the stream, Curtis Fancy, he's got that interception right there. If you're watching, look, bounce.
Look at that.
Boom,
you've got 4 jerseys around. You've
right
got
there.
4 jerseys around, and you've got one receiver from the BC Lion kind of just, you sort of just like, he's pedestrian, right? Stand-back's got no clue where the football is. But again, the BC Lions, they're not making any effort to the football. That receiver in the picture could have got to the football as well. If he would have made effort, he could have potentially tackled AJ Allen. But he was a pedestrian in that thing. And that's why I say it looked like 2 different teams. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they just got to continue to harness the energy and the focus and the sense of urgency that they've clearly gotten over the last few weeks here.
Luke, I'll ask your opinion on this, and it has to do with a divided locker room or a locker room that is solid. And it would have to do with Brett Lauther. Brett Lauther had that off game. Of course, we talked about this. He was 3 of 7 in that one, missed 4. Came back and has been on a run. He being a veteran, had the team, I wouldn't say dumped him, but had the team not stuck with him, do you think that could have cracked the locker room possibly? Like, it seems to me that a veteran like that, a well-liked veteran like that they stuck with, would increase the sense of family, like we're in this together. Your thoughts on that, and do you think increase the foundation or the strength in the locker room in that family type of philosophy?
I think that what Brett did, even though he's a kicker, Brett is a fantastic example of what it takes to be a professional athlete. He had a nightmare of a game the week before, and we talked to him the week after in Toronto after he bounced back and had a great kicking performance. And I mean, he went about his business. And the reason why I bring up him being a pro is because that is exactly what those young guys like Jareth Stearns, right, like Trayvon Tate on the offensive line, DeMarcus Fields, for instance, right? When you have young players, they need to see certain examples of what it actually takes. And here's a guy that had a nightmare game, okay, and came back the next game, clearly having focused on the things that he can control and got himself, and then he continued to string it together. When you see that as a young guy, you follow it. You follow that example. And right now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders going into the playoffs, they need to get behind the guys that understand what it takes. I mean, even the guys like Jamarcus Hardrick, who aren't playing, but are on the sidelines, encouraging their guys who are in practice, in film room, encouraging their guys. There's a lot of guys like Brett Lauther right now for those young guys to get behind who are seeing the build, right, at the best time ever. Like, this is exactly where you need your kicker to be money in the last phase of the season heading into the playoffs, right? So he's a fantastic example of A, how to handle adversity, but B, how to flush that adversity focus on the things that you can control, and come back and be there for your teammates. It wasn't about answering the media. It wasn't about what people thought regarding the locker room, whether they should bring in a new kicker, whether they should. It was about being there for his teammates, and that's what he did, and that's why people are going to galvanize and they can get behind him.
We learned a new phrase, or at least I did, on Saturday evening: obsession for possession, from Coach Mace. 6 turnovers, Luke. Late in the season, I don't care what football league you're playing in. If it's flag, you got a team that's forcing turnovers, you're scary.
Yeah. We used to use the term 2 we're in it, 4 we win it, right, regarding turnovers. So basically you get 2 turnovers, you're going to be in the game. You get 4, you're probably going to win that game. There aren't too many sort of situations where you come out on the losing end of that. That's just how football is. And I think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they've been very opportunistic. They've been reliant on turnovers all year, and it was nice to see that continue. But you're right, turnovers in this phase of the year too are season defining. We always say it, right? We said it last time the Riders were in the playoffs. One of the keys to the game was, hey, like, turnovers right now are season defining, and you can be the team that's causing them, or you can be the team that's giving up the turnovers. The other thing I think that we should note, and is really important to note, is what were there, like maybe 2 penalties on the Riders, right? Like,
yep.
Which is fantastic. Like, they're also not shooting themselves in the foot. You saw it a little bit at the beginning of the year where they were shooting themselves in the foot when it came to penalties. And this game, I can't remember too many. I think there was maybe 2.
It was 2.
Well,
yeah,
there you
Colson,
go, 2.
Colson just looked it up, 2, yeah.
2 penalties in a game that you needed to continue to press and potentially win the division and definitely secure home playoff game. There were no taking yards off the board. There wasn't taking points off the board. Those are the things that are going to carry this team along.
I'll ask your take on this, Luke. One other thing I felt anyway, being on the sidelines and seeing all the celebrations and stuff when guys would come off, whether it was scoring a touchdown or returning the football after recovering it or intercepting it. So many guys had those moments, made big plays in that game, and everybody could celebrate them. And it just seemed like it was being dispersed a lot to a lot of different players. And that, I think, was another reason why everyone was so excited in that game. And the energy was so big because so many guys had a chance to make a big play and did.
Well, more importantly, it speaks to the culture that Coach Mace has managed to manufacture there in that locker room, right? Guys are genuinely happy for each other making a play. And to be honest, guys, you should be celebrating as a team. I remember watching Bill Belichick one day, and it was just a clip of him. And the New England Patriots had scored a touchdown, but he kept the film rolling. And he circled the guys celebrating with each other. And he was right. You work so hard in football. You work so hard. There's so many things that you've got to focus on during the week: film, eating right, practice, the game plan, right? When you make a play, great locker rooms and teams that feel like family, they're going to celebrate, right? They're going to be elated for you because of the work that's going into actually making those plays.
Okay. The one thing, fellas, or Luke, go ahead here. This is a really weird time for a bye week because you got, right, like, and then you come back and you got a kind of almost, I don't want to call it a nothing burger, but you got this game against Calgary where, who's going to play, what are we going to do, all that. Montreal and Winnipeg have a interesting match now that last week. Just this bye week, Luke, like what would you expect? Would it be where the guys get out of Dodge again, or would you expect more of them to maybe stick around since we're kind of right on the heels of playoffs?
Yeah, I think most of the guys, it sounded like most of the guys were sticking around, right? Most of the guys were going to, I think that the emphasis here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is when you have an opportunity like this, you got to get together, right? Uh-huh. Get together, hang out, use the week that you have off to continue to push those relationships that you've been pushing. I remember in 2007, one of the things that really had us glued together is, and we talk about this a lot, is we had like a weekly poker game, right?
Who won?
Guys,
who was good? Who was the shark?
It was normally me. It was normally me. I just
Poker face, Mullender.
Yeah, you know. I'll tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't Chris Getzlaff, and I hope he sees that. Yeah. No, but you know what? I think that you've got to use this week to really take care of your body, but more importantly, just continue, because again, the only concern about the bye week here is momentum loss. You're doing so many things right. You're doing so many things offensively right. You're doing so many things defensively right. You're still consistent on special teams in terms of the cover units. Just continue to harness that momentum and build, and use the game against Calgary to continue. Again, guys, the most important part about the last third of the year is that you build, and you're playing the best football that you will ever play in the year, that playoff game, the one that's approaching. So again, just use it to continue to maintain and develop.
Okay, I know you got to go get your kid. Before you go, Bidsy and I are going to be talking about this out there in Sportscage Land. You're going to have a chance to chime in at 936-6262, the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. We're going to have 2 Pat tickets to give away. We're going to talk about fundraising. Kids fundraising for teams. Did you do that back in the day, Luke, with your minor team? Did you remember your parents having to go out and fundraise or sell things, or did you have to go sell things? And if so, what were your favorites and what were the ones that you despise?
I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. I come from a different generation, I think, where we weren't traveling every single week when I played hockey. Right? We weren't like, there was like maybe 2 tournaments all year, and one of them was a drivable one. I think that today's atmosphere in sports is completely bananas. I think we've lost it. We've lost our minds when it comes to these travel teams. Listen, I say this, Barney, to the parents that are listening to this show, especially hockey parents, if your kid is good, they will find him or her. Period. If your kid is good, the people that identify potentially those 1%ers, because that's what's going to happen. There's only 1% of I think that traveling every single week for volleyball, hockey, basketball, football starting to do it now. I think it's insane. But so we weren't doing a whole ton of fundraisers. We weren't. We were carpooling and getting, and I remember like we would go to Wisconsin as a basketball team, Barney. We would literally put our whole team in one hotel room, 16 guys. Yeah. Oh, it was totally illegal. Like
fire
sneak the whole team through the back
hazard.
Door. Oh, dude, fire hazard for sure. But you know what? Nobody cared about that. We were there to ball, right? So, of all the fundraisers I see, man, the best ones are those.
Never done a bottle drive? You've never done a bottle drive?
Nope. Never did a bottle drive. And again, you know what? Hey, and I had parents that were like, look, you better play good locally because we can't afford to go to Niagara Falls this weekend. We're not going. You know what I mean? Like, and we weren't worried. We weren't worried about, oh man, I might not be seen by this kid or this person or that person. No. If you're good, if your kid is good, they will find your kid. You don't need to travel and so that's just my take. So maybe I was the wrong one to answer that question, Barney. But you know what I do like? I like the booze basket fundraisers. Okay. Those are my jam.
Okay.
And especially like with holiday season coming up, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you can save a few $100 in alcohol.
I'm sure one of my kids will have a booze basket ticket, so then I'll hit you up the next time I see you.
Hit me up. I'm a sucker for those.
I know you got your nice pants on from Colin O'Brien. I know you always got a loose 20 in there. So we learned 2 things. Luke Mullender is a Texas Hold'em shark, and he's never gone on a bottle drive. We learned those 2 things today. Luke, you got to go get your kid. Thanks so much, to use Coach Mace's term. I appreciate you.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a great show.
Right on.
You too, Luke. Have a good one.
Caller man for our broadcast here on 620 CKRM, Luke Mullender. Hey, you know what, Bidsy? That was actually, all joking aside, it was pretty cool when he talked about how they kind of had that division in their locker room. What year did he say? 2007?
8.
2008 with Darian, right? Like he's kind of lived it.
When he brought that up, it just seems to me that could be what's going on. Like, it just makes a lot of sense. You're rolling along. Things are going well. Vernon Adams Jr. is a seems to be a real popular guy, a really well-liked guy. He seems to be a lot of fun. Really just likable fella. And then you bring in Nathan. He comes in right away. It just seems to change direction, and I could see it fracturing or splintering the locker room. I get where Luke's coming from, because it seems to be that the Lions have just gone on a real negative spiral down, and that last game just really amplified it. Yeah. In Saskatchewan, obviously, and the butt whooping that they took from the green and white. Like, the green and white are more than capable of delivering a butt whooping to them, but it just looked like they weren't even in the fight right from the start. And if they're not even in the fight right from the start, why aren't their heads in it? And maybe something like that would be an explanation for that.
Checked out. Well, the BC Lions are going to make a move when it comes to the quarterback position. We will hear about that in moments here after the break. But Derek and I are going to be talking about this today. We have SaskTel pick the score. So you got that. You can pick the score, Riders, Stamps in a couple weeks' time, 936-6262. Thanks to our friends at SaskTel, you got a chance to win the $200 SaskTel gift card along with that. Colson's going to pick a winner from that for tickets to the next game. But the other thing, we got 2 tickets to the Regina Pats Seattle Thunderbirds Saturday. And on that one, we want to know your best or your worst fundraiser. We're going to talk about that when we come back, Bidsy. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always, on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
When you shop at Sherwood Co-op, you're contributing to your community
while building equity and putting money back in your pocket.
Others may claim to be local, but Sherwood Co-op is truly local.
Rooted in your community for over 90 years.
They're a proud Saskatchewan company
who continue to support hundreds of community organizations each year.
Like the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at the Regina General Hospital and the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Double R Auctioneering is conducting an online auction from Ituna. This auction includes 2 houses on large corner lots in Ituna, unused small household appliances, hand tools, metal cut-off and woodworking saws, air nailers, grinders, snow blowers, cardigans, antiques and collectibles, a large safe, LG refrigerator, furniture, toolboxes, air compressors, post drills, rototiller, yard tools, and so much more. The sale is on now and closes Monday, October 21st, starting at 10 a.m. Check it out, register, and bid online at RRauctions.net. That's RRauctions.net.
The Gleaner S98 is the culmination of a century of unique design and performance, adding more harvest performance through operator comfort, new technology, and simplified serviceability. The Gleaner S98 is a combine designed to propel your business forward. Gleaner's simple design drastically reduces compaction and increases fuel savings. Learn more about the Gleaner S98 at Nick's Service in Emerald Park or visit them online at nickservice.com.
Hi, this is Stephen Arndt from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as the scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
Your Co-op Grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. Talk to our team for advice tailored to your farm's needs. We have recommendations to help you optimize your crop yield and quality while enhancing the health of your land. Co-op. We're all growing together. Here for your farm. Here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm.
The all-new Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Yeah, be part of the show by texting the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. We already got, what do we got here? Somebody's asking, Cody in Trail, BC, home of the Smoke Eaters.
Yep. I know a couple buddies have played for the Smoke Eaters.
I like that
Very
rink.
proud organization.
Right below the mill. It's like ominous looking when you drive to it, especially at night. He's wondering if we think the Riders will win the Grey Cup this year. Well, I don't know. We hope so. A lot can happen. Anything can happen. I think the Riders got just a good shot as anybody. I know all those naysayers that were having their time in the text line and on social media and calling in with Justin and Wes after games, a few weeks ago saying, oh, the Riders, they stink. Clean house. We need a change. Now what are you saying? Ha-ha.
Aha, there you go. Barney has called you out. Yes.
Well, come on.
There are a lot of people for sure, but that's the way it is every year. You know that. As soon as something goes wrong, some people like to stick with the program, and some people like to jump off the program and hit the panic button right away. It was a little early for that.
Just want to be disgruntled for the sake of being disgruntled.
Sometimes.
A lot of people. We are giving away tickets. Okay, so full disclosure. Yes, I do have a cough candy in. Because I have that bad cough that's going around, and it's like annoying. So many people have it, and it's just like this dry Some people have had it for like 10 days. So kind of getting by here with the cough candy. Colson's quick on the cough button.
Are you going with the Halls, or are you going with something a little stronger like Fisherman's Friend or something like that?
All we had around here was Halls. So I'm old school.
Yeah,
today. It's better than anything else. Curtis and I had taco time for lunch, so I think the hot sauce, shout out Tammy at all the Regina Taco Times, the hot sauce is helping as well too. There's nothing wrong with that. But the one thing to give away the Pats tickets, we're going to talk about fundraisers. And, because I'm right in the thick of it right now with 2 kids. We've had one bottle drive, went well. We were quick. We were early out of the gate as far as teams go when it comes for a bottle drive. But
timing is huge with that. Sorry, Shink, but it is huge because they're coming around, so you you leave them in the garage. Yeah. You're like, what are we going to do with these? Are we going to take Are we going to take all these to the recycle or they're like, no, just wait, just put them off to the side. There's going to be a bottle drive soon. We'll give it to the kids. And then when they come, you're excited because you want to give them. Guess what, guys? It's not 1, it's not 2, it's 3, 4 garbage bags of recyclable stuff because we had a lot of people over in the backyard this summer. Yeah. And they get the big haul, and then the next one comes around, and you're like, we just got a small plastic bag. One of the old plastic bags that's still left around of recyclables. That's it. No garbage bags full.
People, you can know when you're a kid and you're smart. You go to that house and you look at their backyard and they got that fire pit that looks a little topsy-turvy. And it's like, they guzzled hard around there this summer.
They
had
a giver.
Buddy that came over that works like 7 off, 7 on. He came over and hammered a flat back in his white sunglasses. So he, there's so many cans. It's beautiful. Yes, we are early out of the gate for Bottle Drive 1. And then we went Bacon Fundraiser, which is sneaky good. It's this.
I'm unaware.
It's this Hutterite bacon. A lot of teams are doing it now. It is so good. And now it's kind of caught on steam. Then the one team, we're doing the Jube Jube sale. It's kind of jumped the shark, the Jube Jube sale. I don't
know if I know that one.
Yeah, just Jube Jubes. Just a bag of Jube Jubes.
That's all it is? Okay, I thought there was more.
Not Swedish berries, not the blue whales, not the red feet, not cherry twist, nothing good. It's just Jube Jubes. So then, and then what else do we got going? The booze basket, like Luke said, booze basket's coming out right away.
Yeah,
and then
big.
Tickets to a game of some sort. So get this, last year, a buddy's kids team did. What is one thing everybody in Saskatchewan, if you own a house,
Okay.
with some sort of walkway, what do you need besides a shovel in the winter usually in Saskatchewan?
Well, you probably need salt or gravel,
Bingo.
I would think.
Kingo
Yeah.
bingo. There it is right there. It is a bucket of salt.
Salt.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, well, I got to buy that anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, what do people need to buy?
In Saskatchewan, yeah.
Besides gasoline, where can you profit as a fundraiser? Right?
Yeah. And plus, the other thing about it that's fun is that, and that makes it successful as well, too, is that it's outside the box, right? And so it's something different. If you're a parent, you're going, I'm going to go to my buddies with this. I'm going to go to the guys on the hockey team with this. I'm going to go to the guys in the fantasy football league with this because no one else is doing it. What sucks is when everybody comes to the consensus that, you know what we're doing for a fundraiser? Chocolate-covered almonds. You're like, no, not everybody can do chocolate-covered almonds.
Well, and now with peanut allergies taking over, I would like to know what percentage. Those things, you can't do those anymore. Those used to be hot though. If you had that brown box with and it was back in the day, it was like $2 for that box of chocolate covered almonds.
Yeah.
Oh, that was boss.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, we walked around our neighborhood in Richmond Heights in Saskatoon, and we sold those suckers fast. I just went down the same paper route. I was paper boy too. Just went down the paper route. Yeah. They're like, "Here's Derek." Oh, okay. And they see me with a box of chocolates. They know it's time. The Raiders had a fundraiser, and there I was rolling along. But can I tell you a little quick fundraising story that turned into not a tragedy, but turned into a very bad night for young Derek?
Oh no. Okay.
Here we go. Bottle drive, going up to the house, and we were doing really well. I remember we hit this big house. Might have been white sunglass guy, but no, back then there was no white sunglasses, so it might have been aviator guy or something. I don't know, aviator sunglasses guy.
Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo guy. I know you like the things with the guys. So yeah, he was probably one of those cheese balls, and he probably guzzled lots and had lots of cans. Anyway, we went there. We hit the lottery with him. Everything was good. We're rolling along. We're filling up the back of our truck because you got to go with different trucks. We're following my dad's truck at that time. And then the next one, we're riding a high, and then the next one we go to, big dog, door opens, boom, starts chasing Derek down the driveway, nipping at me.
Oh,
so
like a real dog. I thought you went to, and his nickname was Big Dog.
No.
Okay, so a real, like a canine.
Big dog chased Derek. Big dog chased Derek back to the truck. Yeah. And he's kind of nipping at me, barking at me hard, and I'm just panicking. I get the door open. I put my hand in the door jamb, my other hand on the door.
Oh, no.
Slam the door right on my own hand. Yeah. Break a finger, lose a nail. That was Bottle Drive.
City Hospital, University Hospital. Where did they?
Yeah, it was City. Ray
shipped you to the City Hospital.
Yeah. So that was a bottle. Yeah.
Successful bottle drive, but Bidsy almost lost a limb. So 936-6262, Capital Ford Link. If you want to win some Pat tickets for Saturday against the Seattle Thunderbirds, you got to chime in on the fundraising topic we have. Back to the football game and back to the BC Lions. It just came down this afternoon. Coulson, hot on the keys. We have head coach of the BC Lions, Rick Campbell, saying they are making a quarterback change.
Yeah, he's going to start and play this week. Yeah.
How much?
All of it. Yeah, he's going to be our guy.
When you look at his numbers, he's only thrown 7 passes in the last 8 games. That's half of your season.
Yeah.
What's taken so long to see that, and how important is it to get him more action?
Yeah, we want to get him in there and see how it goes. See if we can get a change of energy, that type of thing. So also he's obviously a very good player, so we want to get him in there and see how he goes.
I guess best case scenario is it goes very well, but then what is your decision come playoff time as to who will start in the playoffs?
So the statement from the very beginning was we want to use both these guys to the we have 2 starting quarterbacks, so we want to use them to the best of the ability. And if Vernon changes it up and we got a good energy going and stuff, then we'll roll with whatever gives us the best chance in the playoffs.
How did they handle it?
Those guys are both role models in my book. They're just ultimate team guys. I think Nathan, it's more of a matter of circumstance. I don't think our football team's problem is our quarterback position. I think it's our whole football team, offense, defense, and special teams not playing well enough, and coaches too. So I don't think it's a quarterback issue, but I think it's a circumstance where we're looking to change things up a bit. And we got 2 guys that are starting quarterbacks, and we're going to do whatever it takes to give ourselves the best chance.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't do it this past weekend. I'm glad they didn't.
Yep, because that could have been the spark, right? That might have been everybody's difference in their approach or their energy level coming into that game. Because as we said before, we were talking with Luke Mullender, and he mentioned it during the broadcast as well. They were, for whatever reason, they just seemed flat. And then when things didn't go their way off the hop with that pass that got juggled and bobbled and ran back by Allen, then they just seem to fold their tents right away. They just seem to be like, well, that's it, take our ball and go home. And they just, I don't know if there's not a strong culture there right now, or the team isn't really strong behind the scenes, but they're obviously feeling that, hopefully, for their case, they're hoping that Vernon Adams can be the guy that gives them that spark. But there's going to be a starting quarterback available to the rest of the league next year, because that's not going to roll again next year if Nathan sticks around in the CFL.
Vernon Adams. It'll be maybe Trey Ford. It's going to be available. It's going to be a few quarterbacks out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the old, I get you got to say it. I'd really like to know postseason if anything comes out where it's like, Joe, Sam, Tony, and Ricky absolutely hated Nathan Rourke. As soon as that change happened, and then it divided, and then it grew in the locker room. Those are fictitious names, by the way. I don't think these guys actually play.
Joe, Sam, Tony, and Ricky. I'm pretty sure that was the gang. Wasn't that Tony? Wasn't that the gang from the Goodfellas, where all those guys named something like that?
Every time I think of Tony, I think of the Seinfeld episode with Funky Tony. So it's like guy with a collar up. Speaking of guy that guzzles beer for a bottle drive, that guy, collar up guy. Definitely. Yeah. Anywho, but they
White Claws.
I would like to know. He sneaks in the odd White Claw. I'd like to know. Yeah, what's the division like in that room? And then for Vernon Adams to come out and say, "Hey, it's the team guy comment." And again, I get it. You got to say it, but it's like, no, you're pissed off. You lost your job, and the guy that's doing it isn't doing that good of a job. Everybody can see it. Come out and say, this is horse. You know what I mean? I want in. I can get in there and do a better job, I think. That's putting your raisins out there.
It's putting your raisins. I never heard that one before. That's a good one. That's putting your raisins out there for sure. But just think from the outside looking in. Things were going well. VA seems to be a really likable guy, popular guy. Things are going well. Things are going fairly well for the BC Lions. 50 Cent's playing. 50 Cent's playing. World's your oyster. Your life's great. And then, there's this guy, that used to be on the team, but maybe you weren't on the team at that time. Maybe you don't even know this Nathan Rourke guy. Maybe you don't, aren't familiar with him at all. And then, things are going good, and then all of a sudden he's available, and then I guess that's the end of VA, and we're just going to hand the job over to this guy. I could see how that could create some decisiveness. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but when Luke brought it up, I could see how that could do something like that with certain fellas, for sure.
Yeah. Time for a break. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Bidsy, Shane Colson, and Curtis here on this Tuesday to start the week. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com. Or if you're listening, as always, on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
Step right up to the greatest auto sale at Capital Ford Lincoln. See the amazing weekly Ringmaster specials. Find a better deal on any new Ford and we'll give you $1,000 in cold hard cash. Introducing Cash for Clunkers, guaranteeing a minimum $3,000 for your trade. Bring the whole family down for food, games, and your chance to win thousands in amazing prizes. Hurry, hurry, hurry to the greatest auto sale at Capital Ford Lincoln.
The next item up for auction is entry to the Canadian Western Agribition. We'll open up the bidding at $25. $25. Who will give me 20? $20 bid, 20. Do I hear $10 bid? Who will give me $10? Who will give me $0 bid? $0 going once, $0 going twice. Sold for $0.
Connexus members get free entry to the Canadian Western Agribition. Pick up your multi-day pass at any Connexus branch.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every game, home or away. And don't wait for the last minute. Get in on the amazing early bird prizes. Everything raised is used to support minor football in Saskatchewan. Support a great cause and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Sponsored by ISC.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Oh, yes. I wanted to mention this. I know this guy. I had this written down as one of the greatest fundraisers from like the 80s that I ever heard a youth hockey team doing. They went door to door selling straw brooms. They were sold out in one afternoon. Straw brooms. Really, again, everybody kind of needs a straw broom. In this day and age, we got the Dyson. Dyson's kind of making a takeover here with, the ease of getting things picked up. But a nice straw broom for a fundraiser, I remember that. I remember that story, and I wrote it down here. Here. We can't hear. Hold on, Bidsy. We got no audio for you. You look animated. Do you want to mention? But brooms. Yeah, back in the 80s. A straw broom fundraiser for your team. We're asking, what are some interesting fundraisers that you've seen over the years? Ones that maybe you love, ones that maybe you despise. 936-6262. Chime in on that. You got a chance to win 2 tickets to the Regina Pats Seattle Thunderbirds on Saturday at the Brandt Center. Bidsy, I think we got you back there. What do you think about the broom situation?
I was going to say, we bought a straw broom at the start of the summer this year, if you will. That's for the patio. We're not using a Dyson on the patio. We're not using something like that. The Robo vacuum cleaner, we're not using something like that on the patio. You got to have a good straw, rugged deck broom. That's what we had. That's what we got. That's not a bad one. That's another one that follows the philosophy, though, you said, Shink, of things you need outside the box, not jumping on the same one as everyone else.
Cabin guy or girl needs a straw broom, so that one still could hold up. Another good one I heard back in the day. Not this one wouldn't go over well nowadays because it's kind of a dying, not art, but something that people really don't get much anymore is a real Christmas tree. There was a team that I remember that they sold Christmas trees, and it was from one of the lots, and for each tree you sold, and people would go pick up their tree, and so much went back to the team. Not a bad thing, but man, real Christmas trees, you get a little bit of a smell in the air, and it's kind of cool to say you have a real Christmas tree, but trying to clean that thing up after is bush league. It's brutal. It's like, you just get one of these big bags and you throw it in this big bag. No, and then it just makes more of a mess because you can't fit the thing in a bag. People make it sound like it's a Ziploc and you're putting a hot dog in. No.
It zips right in there. Yeah, no. There's a lot of thistles. Things are going all over the place. There's stuff everywhere. You find it for about 2 months.
And your vacuum breaks.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I will say this, though. If you do get a natural Christmas tree, and I've gone back and forth on this, you save a lot of room in storage because we got this huge box, under our stairs. And maybe you got a lot of storage. You got a lot of storage, it's not an issue for you, but we don't got a huge amount of storage.
No.
And this big, huge Christmas tree box takes up a lot of it.
So what, you don't want to take it out of the box by chance? Maybe get rid of the box of it? Do you just put it in?
No, it's like, it's either up at Christmas time, right? Or it's in this Christmas tree box that it goes in, and it's still. But I'm just saying, if we had a natural Christmas tree and it was gone, there'd be that much more space than we'd have.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of people are going to when my wife went together a couple of years ago. It was like the trend. It's like the skinny tree. And at first I was like, meh, that thing looks weird. It looks like the guy that wears skinny pants that shouldn't be wearing skinny pants.
Yeah.
That's me. And I'm like, no, that thing looks weird. But no, it actually decorated really nice. I think we're on our second one now. Now this current one is white.
Did you? Oh, I was supposed to say, have you ever strayed away from green? Have you ever gone to the white one or the silver one or something like that? You went with the white one.
Yeah, and really, I just nod. I like pouring a Last Mountain cherry whiskey paralyzer and setting up all the Christmas decorations with cheesy Christmas music in the background. It's actually one of my favorite days of the year. And now that the kids can help out, they're not stepping and breaking things. It's great. Hey, hockey this evening up in Saskatoon. The Blades are hosting the Regina Pats, the 6-1 Saskatoon Blades hosting the Regina Pats. And then down the road from here in Moose Jaw, if you want to watch Berkeley Catton, first-round draft pick in the Spokane Chiefs. They're 7-2, taking on the Moose Jaw Warriors. The other Saskatchewan team in action tonight, Prince Albert, is playing in Kamloops. I can't believe it. Already an hour in the books. Pick the scores going. People are buzzing that. People are chiming in on their fundraising ideas. We got a whole lot more to come, Bidsy. Hour 2 is going to start with Arash Madani after the news. If you are listening, the all-new Sportscage, 620 CKRM, and now you can watch the live stream at sportscage.com.
See them rise.
Partial breakaway, right side stops, waits, he scores!
Then it's Dunlop Ford. Regina Pats hockey is back on your official voice for the Pats, 620 CKRM.
Tune in to Puck Drop tonight at 7 when the Regina Pats head to Saskatoon and take on the Blades at the SaskTel Center.
Game day tickets are available now from the Pats box office. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen on air or online at 620CKRM.com. Regina Pats hockey. See them rise.
Welcome, one and all, to the greatest auto sale at Capital GMC. Prepare to be amazed by our weekly Ringmaster specials. Early year-end clearance prices that can be found nowhere else in the world. Gaze at the amazing cash for clunkers. Get a minimum $3,000 for your trade, guaranteed. Bring the entire family for food, games, and your shot at winning thousands in spectacular prizes. Hurry, hurry, hurry. It's the greatest auto sale at Capital GMC.
You say
move,
and your cows say you tell them
your water is right over there,
and they say you can't convince a cow to move to the water, so move the water to the cows with the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System. With the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
Hi, this is Stephen Arndt from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as a scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
Sometimes everything can look perfect on the outside, but inside, things could definitely be better. Luckily, Freeze Tobin has everything you need to finish those indoor renovations this fall. That's right, interior reno season is here. So head to Freeze Tobin for all the installation, drywall, interior doors, baseboards, and casing materials you need to make your home cozy and welcoming for the long winter months that lie ahead. Visit freezetoman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tobin. Let's get you building.
The world's funniest and most amazing stage show is back. The legend continues as Tyrone Ravine takes you to the inner and outer reaches of your imagination. The ultimate hypnotic experience beyond any other show in this world.
Have you seen? You never forget Ravine.
November 9th. Tickets at connexusartcenter.ca. See you at the center.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's cloudy and it's 16 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op. Proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. Sask Party leader Scott Moe announced the Saskatchewan Party will extend the exemption from the carbon tax on natural gas and electricity for home heating. Natural gas exemptions will last through 2025, while electricity exemptions will apply during the cold months. The extension could save households up to $480 next year. Moe called for the removal of the federal carbon tax and promised to continue supporting Saskatchewan families.
Let's not forget that the Trudeau carbon tax has the full support of the NDP, both in Ottawa as well as here in Saskatchewan, where many NDP MLAs and candidates have said that they support Trudeau and his carbon tax.
Meanwhile, Alina Young, NDP candidate for Regina South Albert, voiced concern over rising gas prices in Saskatchewan, noting that drivers pay more for fuel than those in Toronto. Young criticized Moe for not addressing the cost of living crisis and for raising taxes. She promised that an NDP government would cut the gas tax immediately and remove the PST from groceries and children's clothing by Christmas. 620 CKRM and Sask Today will be bringing you the provincial election debate online and on air, live from the legislature tomorrow night at 6. And for more comprehensive coverage of the provincial election campaign, go to Sask Votes 2024 on 620CKRM.com and sasktoday.ca. Alberta's government has launched a national ad campaign targeting the federal government's incoming emissions cap for the oil and gas sector. Premier Danielle Smith says it's a de facto production cap that would kill jobs and stifle the economy.
All of this will be jeopardized and lost if this ideological, irresponsible, and frankly terrible policy moves forward. The federal Liberals seem uncomfortable or seem quite comfortable with all of this, but I can tell you Alberta is not comfortable with it, and neither are other Canadians.
The province's $7 million Scrap the Cap campaign also says that the federal regulations expected later this year would make groceries, gas, and all of life's necessities even more expensive. Experts say the current diplomatic row between Canada and India could derail the two countries' already underperforming trading relationship. Partha Mohanran with the India Innovation Institute at the University of Toronto says Canada's decision to expel 6 Indian diplomats is a new low in the two countries' relationship. He says it will have a negative effect on Canadian businesses trying to gain a foothold in India and vice versa. And archaeologists in Denmark have made a landmark discovery that could hold important clues to the Viking era.
Oh boy, sleep! That's where I'm a Viking!
The archaeologist who led the 6-month dig says they unearthed a Viking Age burial ground containing some 50 exceptionally well-preserved skeletons. Experts hope to conduct some special DNA analysis and maybe reconstruct detailed life histories and look into social patterns in the Viking Age, such as kinship and migration patterns. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Your weather is next.
When you shop at Sherwood Co-op, you're contributing to your community
while building equity and putting money back in your pocket.
Others may claim to be local, but Sherwood Co-op is truly local.
Rooted in your community for over 90 years.
They're a proud Saskatchewan company
who continue to support hundreds of community organizations each year.
Like the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at the Regina General Hospital and the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
The luxury of Mercedes-Benz has never been more within reach with the fall demo event at Mercedes-Benz Regina. Save up to $32,000 on select models like the luxurious EQE 350. Get the premium performance and elegance Mercedes-Benz is known for, but with unmatched value when you choose certified pre-owned. Take advantage of the opportunity to experience the Mercedes-Benz you've always dreamed of, without compromise. Book your test drive at Mercedes-Benz Regina.
Now it's time for your 620 CKRM precision weather forecast for Line X Regina, Sirius Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, some partly cloudy skies and a low of 4. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies and turning warmer with a high of 22. And on Thursday, intervals of cloudiness and periods of sunshine with a high of 15. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy. Winds are from the southwest at 15 and it's 22 degrees. Regina is also cloudy. Winds are from the southwest at 32, gusting to 43, and it's 16 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour 2 of the program. It's Barney Shinkrick, Derek Bidwell, Colson, Curtis with you. In the next hour, we got Arash Madani standing by. He is going to join us. We're going to talk some SJHL with Benny Walchuk and the SJHL report for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Also get into a little Major League Baseball as well. Bidsy, I got to tell you, this one, I laughed out loud. Like the LOL was real. We're asking people their fundraising memories, ideas, things that they hate when it comes to fundraising for children's sports. CJ messaged in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Late 90s in small city southeast Saskatchewan, our midget hockey team installed people's Christmas lights as a fundraiser. Of course, had beverages in between house to house. Looking back, it was a terrible and dangerous idea that OH&S would have hated, but it was fun at the time, and we made a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room for disaster there, especially if you're going to throw in some pops. But hey, it's creative. It's thinking outside the box, and it's something that probably a lot of people needed.
I love it. And you know what?
It's a cool
rural Saskatchewan, especially rural Saskatchewan in the 90s. It's like, whatever. We're not living, my kid's not living in a bubble or in bubble wrap. Yeah. Get out there, boy. Here, take this six-pack and go put up some lights. You take that rickety ladder from the Quonset.
Exactly. Go with your friend Jeff that we always knows likes to tie into him. He'll be the guy on the ladder. That'll be good. That'll be safe. As long as you're at the bottom just holding the ladder.
Yeah. And Jeff never paid attention.
Yeah.
But if that bottom of the ladder guy was the guy that needed some sort of attention span. He couldn't be
distracted.
Oh, there's Shelly and Lisa down Main Street. No, and then boom.
And then Jeff's down. Yeah, slides right down the eaves troughs because it's slippery, and then down.
And
the
then
ladder, there he goes.
The closest hospital is like 40 minutes away. His leg, his bones sticking out. That's not what happened.
But you never get hurt when you have the pops in you, right? You never get hurt. You just bounce. You're a little more rubberized then. You just bounce off the side of the house, and then you laugh. You're like, I can't believe that happened.
Put some Robitussin on it. So keep them coming. 936-6262, the Capital Ford Lincoln text line.
The all-new Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Arash, if I would have told you, what do we say, maybe let's go 10 weeks ago, 6-7 weeks ago, that Nathan Rourke would lose his starting job right before the playoffs, we would have both looked at each other like we were crazy.
Oh, yeah. Because remember, when Nathan Rourke returned, the prodigal son had come back.
Yes.
Like this shining light all over the entire Lower Mainland, and all of British Columbia, and all their problems were solved. And I still am on a bunch of group chats. One of our group chats is actually called Top 20 Quarterback on the Planet, just because of the absolute absurdity that went all around there. Guys, Nathan Rourke hadn't taken a snap in 2 years, a meaningful snap. Mm-hmm. And he comes in and, like, Barney, how many times have you and I talked about there's no such thing as instant coffee? Like, this is not Folgers. One player, one person, one position, even quarterback, isn't going to solve it, especially when you're not performing. So the Lions are lost, and they're just trying anything right now to get the train back on the tracks.
You know what Luke said when we had him on earlier, that they went through this in 2008, similar, when a lot of them thought that Darian should be the starter. It divided the locker room, and that's what he thinks. That's his, thoughts on what's happening here with BC. What
and that could be. I would also add to that, I don't think they're very good. Like, who on defense scares you on the
Tony.
BC Lions Football Club?
That's an inside joke from earlier in the show.
That was just a callback. He's just throwing out Tony whenever. Just get used to it, Rash. He's going to throw out Tony every once in a while. He just likes Tony. Matthew Betts is a guy that is good.
Betts is the only one.
Line. Yeah, might be the
Betts
only
is the only one, right? And he came in a little bit after Nathan did. So I don't know.
Yeah. From Detroit.
BC feels like they're in this absolute free fall, not that dissimilar from where Ottawa is right now. And at least Ottawa can look at it and say, okay, well, our offensive tackles are a mess, our linebacker core is a mess. But their quarterback situation's a mess too.
I'm going to just throw this out to you, Arash, and somebody was talking about this on the Riders pregame show leading up to the game, and that was about how confused sometimes Nathan Rourke must be, because he has so many different offenses and terminologies from so many different teams, and then whether the nuances of the American game to the Canadian game to the wider field to the guys in motion, like Omaha doesn't mean the same thing for one team as it does to the other. Like I don't have the biggest hard drive on top of my shoulders. I would have such a hard time keeping track of all these different playbooks and terminology from all these different offenses.
Let me just stop you. That's I understand where they may be coming from. It's just nonsense. It's football. B, Baker Mayfield last year was traded, or 2 years ago, was traded on a Monday, ends up in LA on Tuesday, starts Thursday, and wins the football game for the Rams. Yeah, okay, some terminology is different. How long has Nathan Rourke been there now? We're coming up on 2 months.
Yeah.
This is...
I don't think that, personally, I don't think that it's that big of a deal. He's been there long enough to know that, hey, you clear out, when that you run a 10-yard out, when that guy turns his hips, just take him to the out, I'm going to throw you the ball. Like, at some point, it's that easy to play. Like, it's like, hey, you post wheel.
Not just that, Barney. Barney, think about last year, the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco was on the couch. He had zero base of knowledge, and he gets thrown right into the fire, and he leads them to the playoffs and wins NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I understand where some of the thought process may be coming from, but in practice and reality are a totally different thing.
What's a better matchup for the BC Lions, Winnipeg or Saskatchewan?
I would say, honestly, none of the above. If BC was home, I think it's a different conversation. I really like Stanback. I think he's a heck of a running back. I think he's going to be a load to bring down. And I guess because of that, like when Zach Collaros has had BC's number. So I guess from that standpoint, maybe Sask. But I just get the sense, guys, that it's going to be like, if Luke's right and they've lost the room, Rick Campbell's going to take the fall too for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were in decent shape in the middle of August. And what's happened since? Nobody was able to get this thing recovered. So I just think that what we're about to see here is catastrophe for BC.
Going to be a quarterback available to the rest of the league next year for sure. That was on the BC Lions this year. Arash, the Riders, just go ahead.
I said, wouldn't that be something if it was Nathan Rourke?
Like, what do you do? Honestly, like, and I get Nathan Rourke, I guess, kind of sells tickets, maybe, or does he now?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold the phone.
Like, if you're BC this off season, what are you selling? I honestly think, this is crazy to say, yeah, I honestly think Vernon, because with Vernon you were winning games, he was on track to be MOP. The problem with Vernon Adams is he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But they're gonna put the full hyperbole blitz on. Oh, Nathan just needs an off season. It's been so tough on him. Blah blah blah. Yeah, who helps you win more? I don't know. Who helps sell tickets more? I guess Rourke. I guess. Yeah.
Just keep bringing in early 2000 rap artists. You'll sell tickets. Cool Modi playing the BC Live.
I don't know if Kumo D moves the needle as much, but
okay. Yeah. Eric B and Rakeem.
Chaos moves the needle.
Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
One of them passed away. It'll only be one of them.
Okay.
Dang. I'll look up which one. Go ahead.
Arash? Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to add in something there. Sorry, I thought we cut you off.
No.
Okay.
No.
Arash, this one, the Riders are rolling again. Getting hot in October is a real good sign, of course. What do you think will make the biggest difference for them now that everyone is playing for keeps? That this team, of course, seems to be on a bit of a roll.
I look at this, guys, and I'm not comparing the two, okay? But you look at Baltimore right now, they've won 4 in a row, and they've done it because they're running the football aggressively and violently and downhill, and Derrick Henry is such a big body, and there's so much he can do. We're now at the time of the year where it's going to hurt to hit people because bodies are banged up, and especially because of the weather, because of the cold. And I get that AJ was hurt, but the fact that he, between late July and last week, had only played 1 game, the fact that his body is relatively fresh, like, I thought that was such a good sign that they handed him the ball 15, 16 times. He caught it a couple of times out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to people around the league, and they will tell you that Big A.J. Ouellette is as much of a threat catching the football out of the backfield as he is running it. The fact that he got 18 touches the other night, to me, is a very, very positive sign for the Riders. That's somebody who, after going through all the injury rehab, whatever, can be thrown right into the fire and take on that kind of load, and the rest of his body is relatively fresh. I think this is, in November football, you have to win running the ball. Who knows what the wind's going to be like? Who knows what the conditions are going to be like, et cetera, et cetera. running violently the way he does, that can wear down a defense. I think that's advantage Saskatchewan.
DJ AZ Rock fellas passed away in 2014. Just unfortunate.
Pour one out tonight.
Unfortunate news there. People will tell you joy and pain.
Sportscage has learned.
Yeah, but I'll always. It Takes Two is a way better song.
It takes two to make the thing go right.
Let's go NFL here, and man, it is so awesome to watch. I don't know what I'm liking to watch more. The downfall and the burning of the Dallas Cowboys,
It's predictable,
or the New York Jets losing. The body language, they look like they're going nowhere, and now they sign
even more predictable
Davante Adams. Arash, I'm actually happy that they got him, because now if they don't make the playoffs and they got him, okay, Aaron, whose fault is it now? Whose fault is it this time, Aaron?
Fault
got Aaron all
is
over
it now? So last year they had Randall Cobb, and this year they, Alan Lazard, and now Davante. All Aaron's buddies are here. Everything Aaron wanted. So you're telling me after they trade for Davante Adams today that the quarterback had nothing to do with Robert Saleh being fired at all? He resents the idea, the notion, the suggestion that he had anything to do with it. It's like the passive-aggressive shrug, eye roll, body language, all of it is just so bad. But now, look, you ask any receiver in the league about who the best one is, and they say, I don't know who the best one is, but whatever you're going to do, it starts with Davante Adams. You got Davante and you got Garrett Wilson as a 1-2 or a 2-1. You got Breece Hall running the football. All right, Aaron. Like, they've given you everything here.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you better do something with it. Otherwise, But here's
they're good on the other side of the ball too.
But are they without Saleh now?
So here's what I
Buffalo
would say,
slapped
guys.
him around.
I look at this whole Jets situation, like we talk about Rick Campbell being on the hot seat. I think that whole coaching staff, that entire front office, has, like, they have a refundable deposit on a U-Haul for January.
I like
that. They don't care about draft picks. Like, if this doesn't work this year, Zach Wilson, this is the regime that drafted Zach Wilson, whatever that was, second overall. They're all gone if this doesn't work. So they've put all their chips in the middle of the table, and it's like, all right, we're all in on pocket eights.
Maybe they should just go old school, like Slapshot or Reggie Dunlop was the player coach. Just make Aaron Rodgers, maybe just make it official. Make him the GM quarterback.
Well, then who would he blame?
Well, that's right.
Right.
I don't know.
It can't be Aaron's fault.
It's it is really for it to happen today. Like, I thought, if anything, after that loss, and then now that Salah's gone, I thought Curtis has got it up on the stream right now. It's old Aaron Rodgers when he had his mullet, and he's just shaking his head, sulking to the
the receiver
bench.
probably just dropped the ball, and he's making it publicly known that he was disgusted.
Who was the other receiver there? And now he's long retired. What was the
Jordy Nelson?
Jordy Nelson. Yeah.
Dependable.
I don't think New York. What's their schedule? Doesn't get much easier, does it? Yeah, you get to beat the Patriots one more time.
Yeah, they're in a division with Miami and New England, so there is that. And here's the thing: with 17 games, they're not out of it. 2-4 is tough to dig yourself out of, especially with a home loss to Buffalo. But man, oh man. Like, one by one, everyone's taking the fall, and one by one, everything's pointing back to Aaron Rodgers. So here we go.
I just think it must be, you talk about dynamics in a locker room and how things can be split or fractured. I mean, if you're a player in there, I just wonder what you're talking, you know, you have your cliques, the DBs maybe hang out with the DBs, the Hoggies hang out together, D linemen, linebackers. I just wonder what they say when they're away from Aaron Rodgers and they're, you know, they go out for a bite to eat or a pop or something like that and like, so what do you think he's going to ask for next? Or like, I wonder what the guys are saying in that locker room when they're away from Aaron and how it's unfolding right now and if it is becoming splintered.
Probably 3 words. What a bleep.
It probably starts with you first got to figure out who's in your camp. It's like anywhere. It's like any place of business where you're kind of like, oh, and then you see someone roll their eyes when somebody does something that's like, okay, yeah, that guy's on side.
He's on my side. Okay.
And then the rolling of the eyes turns into, I don't know. And then that turns into, what a bleep. It just snowballs, progresses. You find out who's all got the same thought process as you, and I'm sure there's a number of them. And I hope it all comes out. I would love it to all come out when this is all done, where it was like, yeah, he was a total. I don't want to use the C word.
Yeah.
But he was the thing that was supposed to make us tick, and it went the other way.
The conversations always start. I'll just add this too. They always start out this way too. Okay. This is between you and I, right? Between you and I. Yeah. Okay, between you and I, right? This is just between you and I, right? Absolutely. Whatever we say here, yeah, between you and I. And then after that, then the guy says something, and then the other guy goes, "Oh, I'm so happy. We're thinking the same thing. We're thinking the same thing."
In my baseball days, I covered the Jays for a bunch of years. I'd get to the ballpark pretty early, like 2:33 in the afternoon. I'd just like set up shop in the dugout or right up on the top step. And I just wait for, pitchers to come out to stretch or throw, or hitters come out for, early hitting. And inevitably one of the guys would just come over and shoot the breeze, whatever. And all I'd be waiting for is for one of them. And this was like what you were saying, Bidsy. These were the magic words when they're like, "You want to know how screwed up this place is?" Like, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Come have a seat on Grandpa's leather brown couch and tell me
off
all
the
your
record.
problems.
Off the record.
Yeah. Can you keep something between you and me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fire away, champ. You know what though? In all seriousness here, Arash, all I needed was Buffalo to win by 4 points yesterday. For one fairly decent monster, this is Sports Select. This is the old school. This is the paper ticket stuff. This is the stuff we grew up on. Mm-hmm. It's your dad's Sports Select. 2 tickets, Bidsy. I texted Arash. What did I do about first quarter?
He's sweating when midway through the third quarter, my phone lights up. It's Barney. He's like, I really need the Bills to win more than a field goal. I'm like, oh, man, he's chasing on Monday night.
What does Barney – you see that and you're like, okay, let's click on that. What does Barney need to happen in order to win today? Okay.
And I didn't know it was
with the paper tickets set out on the table.
I saw the field goal. I'm like, okay, maybe got a push. Nope, Sports Select got to win by 4.
I know. It was heartbreaking, but we move on. We'll regroup coming up this weekend. Hey, there's soccer news also, which is really crazy because it's like the last time I feel like we were talking about soccer, it was the drones and Canada's kind of cheating. The men's team is playing. We got the World Cup coming up in months.
Yeah, so 2026 World Cup is in Canada and U.S. and Mexico, but Canada's going to be playing all 3 prelim matches on home soil. Remember this summer, the Copa America run to the semifinals just felt like it was getting bigger and bigger. We all got into it. Canada's playing Panama tonight in Toronto. It's their first match on home soil since the Copa. And they're like, it's starting to become real. Like yesterday, the head coach and the CEO of Canada Soccer met with the people at Nike. They saw their whole jersey, the whole kit, the whole uniform. They're starting to put a lot of their tactics together about some of the stuff they want to do with set pieces and connections and ball control. They're talking big about the World Cup, guys. Like it is full on prep mode. And Derek Cornelius, who really was a revelation, he's the center back for Canada at the Copa. Cornelius said something interesting yesterday. He said, like he's 26. He said, growing up, I idolized like Brazilian stars and like Ronaldo and Messi. He's like, but I grew up and I idolized them because of the World Cup. Now for kids growing up in Canada watching the World Cup, they're going to see us. So he's like, we view this as a privilege and obligation. And he's like, we know the work we put in now in the lead up, there can be a real payoff coming up in a couple of summers from now. So I'm not too kind of caught up in the result tonight. It's more about who and what they are and where they're headed. But like 2 years is going to fly by, and it's going to be a massive story when Canada hosts this thing.
I was watching your story on this, Arash, earlier today on Sportsnet on the TV bank there at the gym. I was on the treadmill just walking along and listening to your story, and I knew we were going to talk to you today. Do you feel that Canada likes where they are as far as the world rankings go? Because it seems like they're being, I don't know if disrespected is the word, but they don't seem to have a high of a ranking as a lot of people may think they should, and is that a good spot for them to be and to build on and maybe have motivation from?
Honestly, Bidsy, I have not gotten any kind of indication that they care about the world ranking, to be honest. What was interesting yesterday is Jesse Marsh, who's been at the job as head coach for less than a year, he said we're actually ahead of schedule in terms of where we want to be for 26. Which I thought was interesting. Like what they're doing, like they have international windows. This is one of them. They're actually bringing a whole bunch of dudes, like 5 or 6 guys who weren't around for Copa America, and they're going to play some of them tonight just to see what the overall player pool is. Because as much as you may have a plan October 15th, 2024 of what you want to play in July of 26, if a dude gets injured, if somebody falls out of favor, if somebody, like, there's a lot that can go wrong. So they want to see everybody that possibly could be an option and where they may fit. Okay, maybe with that last roster spot, we'll bring so-and-so into the mix because we know he can do A, B, and C. We saw that against Panama way back when. They like where they're at. They want to see more of what they potentially may have. And I think that's what's going to be interesting over the next few months. Because next summer is another big competition. The Gold Cup is happening next summer. It's not as big as Copa America, but it's another kind of major tournament before the World Cup.
The Gold Cup. I can't keep track of all the soccer cups.
A lot of cups.
And then there's friendlies, and then there's not friendlies. And there's, it's...
The Buffalo Bills were not friendly to you last night, my man.
Oh. Hey,
nice.
What do you know about...
Slide that back in there, Arash.
What do you know? Yeah. Jeez. I thought we were talking about Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock again. Fundraising. Did you ever have to, out there in Nova Scotia, did you guys ever have to fundraise for any of your sport teams? Do you remember kids coming by or anything like that?
Can you do that anymore? Like we just sell wrapping paper. We went around, we sold soaps.
There's something that people need.
You need that.
Okay, but can you in 2024 now ring someone's doorbell and sell them wrapping paper and soap? Or are you I don't know, what are the rules anymore?
Like what kind of soap you thinking? Like a bar of soap or like a body wash? Let's be honest here. If you go door to door selling a bar of soap, people might think you're a little wacko.
No, I just mean, can you go door to door now as a kid? Like all the rules are different.
No, my kid went. She's got to sell jubes, so she's got this big case of jubes. I'm like, I'm not taking that to work. Go door to door. Try. Go look. Follow the skunk smell. And then go to that house.
Bring it to work.
Because they want something.
Mullender will buy all the candy off of you. Come on, man.
Mullender said he's in for the booze basket.
He likes
That's another thing.
Raffles, yeah.
I bet he is.
So you don't remember. You just the wrapping paper. That's awesome. I wrote it down. That could be.
That's a good one.
That could be one of the front runners. Yeah. You can't do chocolate covered almonds anymore because what percentage of the population, Coulson, is peanut allergies?
In 2016, it was about 4%.
Yeah,
for those 18 and older,
and it's probably gone up now.
And not that this is a fundraiser, but you also can't sell anything with a plastic straw because the war on straws is like real these days.
Yeah,
you know
that is. We talked about that.
I get to the border when I drive up from the States, and they say, "Do you have anything?" And I'm like, "Plastic straws," and they always chuckle. Arash, Thursday, I'm gone again, so you'll have Dave and Maz, I think, on Thursday, but I'll keep you updated on my bets this week. And then I know you're going to either listen to It Takes Two or Joy and Pain in the next 24 hours from DJ Izzy Rock.
I'm headed to the soccer stadium now. I'm gonna listen to both of those on my way.
Yeah, yes. It'll get you going.
See you, buddy.
See you, pal.
Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. Still so much more to come. We're going to go back to the text line here. Haven't checked it in a while. Oh, we got some good ones on the
I'm
fundraising.
It Takes Two right now in my head.
Fundraising. Yeah, see, now that we're on YouTube and we're streaming, we can't play the music because then we'll get busted. But yeah, people that grew up, what are we, Gen X? Gen Xers.
I think we are. Yeah, I think so.
It Takes Two, Joy and Pain.
Raw bass, joy. Come on, how about a pain?
You're doing a heck of a job getting people. Sultry sounds of Derek Bidwell on the Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
The Saskatchewan Party will make life more affordable for students, for homeowners, and for families. We'll increase the amount students get back through the Graduate Retention Program. We'll increase the first-time homebuyers tax credit. We'll create a home renovation tax credit, and we will increase the active families benefit for children's activities. We'll also reduce your income tax and keep home heating exempt from the Trudeau NDP carbon tax. The Saskatchewan Party, making life more affordable for Saskatchewan people.
Authorized by the financial agents for all provincial Saskatchewan Party candidates.
The world-famous Keniston Super Draft is back for the NHL season, and $90,000 is up for grabs. Everyone is vying for the $20,000 first-place prize. Be one of 14 winners of $1,000. Do you stay chalk and go with the McDavid, Kucherov, Matthews along with the regular point getters, or go off the board? Entries are just $40 each, 3 for $100 or 7 for $200. Find some buddies and get in on some real NHL pool action with the Keniston Super Draft. Superdraft.com. Entry deadline November 1st, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
The greatest auto sale has arrived at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Behold our dazzling weekly Ringmaster specials. Early year-end prices that will have you gasping. And Cash for Clunkers is back. Get a minimum $3,000 for your vehicle, guaranteed. There's food and games galore. Plus, win your share of thousands in unbelievable prizes. So come one, come all to the greatest auto sale at Crestview.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every game, home or away. And don't wait for the last minute. Get in on the amazing early bird prizes. Everything raised is used to support minor football in Saskatchewan. Support a great cause and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Sponsored by ISC.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
SJHL report coming up with Benny Walchuk in the next segment. There is hockey this evening. Regina Pats, Saskatoon Blades at Sask Place. I still call it that. Up in Saskatoon, the Blades are a tidy 6-1 under new head coach Dan De Silva, fan of the show, and the Pats are 4-4. Down the road in Moose Jaw, it's the Spokane Chiefs and Berkeley Catton. Chance to see him play before probably he plays for the World Junior team this year. So that game in Moose Jaw starts at 7 p.m. Prince Albert is in Kamloops. Bidsy, we are giving away 2 Regina Pat tickets for Saturday night's game against the Seattle Thunderbirds. And we just want people, anyone that chimes in on the fundraising topic that we got going. I knew someone was going to mention this. Where is it here? The best fundraiser in rural Saskatchewan used to be bingos. It was also the worst due to the smoke. And that was from Norma Jean. Shout out, Norma Jean. Big Diamond Rio fan here. That I don't know if that was just rural Saskatchewan. Because we did that in the cities.
Yep.
Confed bingo, I remember, and the smoke. Yeah, you needed a long bath with that bar of soap or shower to get that off you.
Did you work them or did your parents work them? Because for me, actually, my parents worked them. I didn't work them.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were not allowed to or whether we were spoiled. I don't know what exactly happened there, but I know my parents worked them. Probably spoiled.
No, you had to be a certain age to work them. So once I think it was like 14.
Okay. Because I know my parents always came back to, it smelled like Dartsville for sure. It was because that is just, it just hung in there like fog.
Face was all crinkly and crackly like a catcher's mitt.
Oh, and you never wanted to go there with anything like I remember my dad had this suede jacket, I think, or this leather jacket.
Yes,
right?
he did.
And you could not wear if you wore that there. Oh, you're like, now what do I do with? You can't get this. It's not like you just wear like a regular jacket made out of cotton or material or whatever. You throw that in the wash. What do you do with the leather jacket now? Now that thing smells like an ashtray I don't even know what you do with that.
Hope's yelling at him. You just bought that new suede at Caswell's. I'm wearing it.
Don't wear it to the bingo. It'll stink like smoke. It looks good.
Curtis wants to chime in here, and he never wants to chime in.
Yeah, always did the bingos. Had to do like 8 of them a year. So couldn't do it until I was 18 because did it in Alberta. So they wouldn't let you into the casino until you're 18. But did a bunch of them. Always come back home smelling like smoke.
And there was guys that they loved working them. If you could work the Nevadas. And that's old school. People call them pull tabs, I think. If you could get the Nevada gig where you just kind of sat there and you're up a little bit higher on a perch and people would come to you, that was the gig. People
went to town on those things.
The veteran always got the Nevadas. And then I remember recently, probably in the last 10 years, my kids were Ukrainian dancing for that brief stint. I had to work a couple here in Regina. And you put on kilometers, and then people kind of get angry if you don't give them what they want. It's like, no, I wanted 8 6-packs, I want 4 Bonanza, and I want 3 early birds. And I'm like, okay, which one? What color? Can we go by color, please? A big eye roll, and it's like, listen, lady, you haven't changed those sweats in 4 weeks, and you're playing bingo here, and you're rolling your eyes at me.
Come on now. Yeah, you got those are not even sweats. We both know those are pajama pants. Come on now, you're trying to sell them as sweats, but with the plaid, we know they are pajama pants. Yeah.
Always do 8 from the top, 8 from the bottom, 8 from the middle, and maybe just a random one for good luck.
Look at this guy's memory on working bingos.
Yeah, he's really right. He's shouting it out there. You can kind of hear Curtis a little bit. It sounds like he's talking about people getting aggravated if they don't get the right cards.
I always sell winners.
Right?
And then there's the people that bring their troll dolls or their Lucky Charm things.
Yeah. Bobbleheads. And then they've tapped the head on the bobblehead.
Yeah. Or but bingo halls now, no smoke, but they still run a great French fry and gravy.
Yeah, you got it. You gotta have a good fry and gravy there. You gotta have some good snacks for people. My parents did the bingo for sure. And then the other one we did was big during the X at least with the Hilltops, was we had like a trailer, and you had to put in a shift or two during the X, plus 35 in the sun selling tickets at the X for the trailer.
And Ray was in his suede jacket.
Suede jacket. This still smells like smoke from the bingo hall. Can you believe it?
Now it smells like corn dogs and spud nuts, the Saskatoon X. Steve chimed in, the good old skate-a-thon. I forgot about those. Those were a pain in the ass.
And you have to get people to pledge for you. And how many laps? They would even give you. That's right. I remember this now. I totally forgot. So either you could give a flat pledge of $10 or a quarter a lap. And then there'd be some people that would underestimate you, and they would say, like my uncle, I don't know. Derek doesn't seem like he'd be a very good skater. I'll give him $2 a lap. And you're like, I'm going to totally roast you. And then you would just go hard. And then at the end, you go back to your uncle. You owe me $67.
And Uncle is now wondering how he's going to go to bingo and buy that pack of darts. Yeah, the skate-a-thon.
I totally forgot about the skate-a-thon.
Oh, good one, Steve.
That's good. They should bring that
good
back.
No, they shouldn't, because our team will end up doing it. No. No more fundraisers for the year.
The skate-a-thon. I like the skate-a-thon.
We got so many more. I got some other ones written down here.
All right.
It's the all-new Sportscage. We're having a lot of fun. Bidsy, Shane Colson, Curtis is chiming in today.
It's normally quiet Curtis, normally silent Curtis.
Our female listenership is going to go up. It's the all-new Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
You know what they say about trust? Trust goes both ways. And hey, that doesn't just go for people. It goes for you and your vehicle too. If your vehicle seems to be telling you something's wrong, you have to trust that instinct. Visit your local Integra Tire dealer for all of your car's mechanical service needs and get up to a $100 rebate on a set of 4 tires on select brands. You want tires you can trust from a dealer you can trust. Trust your locally owned Integra Tire dealers. Cars Holdings Assiniboia and Schlamps Tire Grenfell. Truly local.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Step right up to the greatest auto sale at Capital Ford Lincoln. See the amazing weekly Ringmaster specials. Find a better deal on any new Ford and we'll give you $1,000 in cold hard cash. Introducing Cash for Clunkers, guaranteeing a minimum $3,000 for your trade. Bring the whole family down for food, games, and your chance to win thousands in amazing prizes. Hurry, hurry, hurry to the greatest auto sale at Capital Ford Lincoln.
The all-new Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sportscage. It is that time of the week where we talk to Benny Walchuk. It is the SJHL report for Southie Mainline Chrysler in Southie, Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Right now they got $1,400 bonus off Jeep Grand Cherokees, 15% off Pacificas, and $18,000 off select Ram 1500s. They are the new king of trucks, just a half hour north of Regina in Southie, Saskatchewan. All right, Benny, we had our Southie Worth the Drive games last week to Flin Flon. Not sure if anybody took us up on that jaunt up the Hanson Lake, but it was a home and home, and the home teams between Flin Flon and Melfort prevailed. Travel has to be a factor there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just that long bus ride. You go through the forest. You're looking at some scenery around the area, and you kind of get maybe lost a little bit, and you get off to tough starts. So, yeah, both teams very good hockey clubs, and both teams are very good at home ice, and I proved that on the weekend. So, just two very good hockey games, and then maybe some expected results from those two games.
What is going on with Weyburn? Like, they're 4-4, but when I keep looking at the stats and at the results and all that, it seems like Weyburn's a wagon.
Yeah, exactly. They started off the season very, very quiet with an 0-4 start, but they've rattled off 4 straight victories, and they've outscored their opponents 25-9 in those victories. And they got Jackson Ruthven back from the North American League. Jerome Maharaj, we talked about last week, got him back from the BCHL. Then Ethan Deke, another guy they got from the Alberta Junior Hockey League, and they kind of took off. They combined for, I think, 13 or 14 points in that win over the Yorkton Terriers on Saturday, and they just took off, got good goaltending from Angelo Zoll as well between the pipes. So definitely a team that's kind of on the up right now. We'll see if they can sustain this offensive jaunt, but been a good week or so for the Weyburn Red Wings.
Are they a team to watch, Weyburn?
They are, yeah. They have 2 really good goaltenders. Dazza Mitchell was SJHL Goalie of the Year finalist the last couple of years, and he's a guy that hasn't even played. They have Angelo Zoll, so they have 2 very good netminders. And then Solfence, I know right now a lot of people are calling them a one-line team, but I think they're going to have some depth. And I think once their defense, which is a little bit older but not as experienced in the SJHL, once they get going, I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
So North Battleford. Or Battleford Stars. Sorry, everyone in the Battlefords. Battleford Stars. They are going back to what they know for their new head coach. I love it. A guy that I've got to know over the years. He's an SJHL weapon from years gone by and a senior hockey mainstay in the province, but especially in that north central-ish area of the province or northwest. Marty Smith is the new bench boss in North Battleford.
Yeah, exactly. I know Gary Childerhouse took over this year as head coach and GM, but he had to take he went step down due to personal reasons, and then Owen Lamb took over their acting assistant coach and did a pretty good job as interim head coach in the process. But Marty's helped out with practices the last few weeks, and he's been on the bench a few times. And he's not just a guy that's the second leading scorer in Battleford North Star history, the leading goal getter in history. They're not just doing that just of his name. He definitely can coach. He coached the U18 AAA team a number of years back for a whole number of years, and he brings good experience and good leadership and good hockey expertise to that coaching staff. And they also named Wiley Riendo, who's been a part of that team for a long time, as their head scout. They build a lot of championship teams. He's their new general manager. So yeah, it's a namesake. I know Keon Bell, his nephew, was very, very good, the back-to-back SJHL Player of the Year last couple of years. So a lot of familiarity with that Smith family to that Battleford organization, and I'm sure that's going to be a great fit there for the Battlefords to bring Marty Smith, the guy that's very familiar with that red, silver, and white colors.
Yeah, you know what? I was just looking here quickly. 91-92 when he went back to Battlefords and played. He was obviously the leading scorer. He had 136 points in 64 games for the Battlefords North Stars. Yeah, Marty had a heck of a career there. Nice to see him. Okay, this week, which game is worth the drive? Is it the one that's in your neck of the woods?
It is. It's going to be a big weekend here in down Highway 10. So those passing lanes between Malville and Yorkton get used very, very good. That 43-kilometer stretch. But it's going to be an exciting weekend. A lot of people are energized. A lot of people. I know it's coming off Thanksgiving, but a lot of people are making their way back home for this home and home. And this is the best start these two teams have had for a number of years. And they'll meet Friday in Yorkton, then back here on Saturday in Melville. So that's a short trek from the Queen City or wherever you may be tuning in from to make the trek to Yorkton and Melville. And should be a great, great Highway 10 battle in the games 1 and 2 of the Parks Cup here this weekend.
There it is. That is the Southie Mainline Chrysler. Worth the trip of the week. Yeah, you know what? If I was in town, I would definitely be taking in one of those, and those barns are going to be awesome. So, Benny, anything else that we missed this week on the SJ Report?
No, exactly. The Western Canada Showcase, we talked about that. The schedule has been released between MJHL and SJHL. That takes place at the beginning of November in Warman, Saskatchewan. So the top U19 players from both leagues will be taking part in that event for a chance to earn a spot on Team Canada West for the World Junior A Challenge. So you can find those details on sportscage.com and as well as the SJHL website as well. But yeah, it should be a great week here still a nice week of hockey and weather outside, and should be a great week of hockey as well. Another busy one.
Any plug for the football team? Are we going into playoffs yet?
We are going to playoffs. Yeah, we had a big win last week over Indian Heads. We've clinched top seed going into the playoff showdown this Saturday against SJHL. We won that. We go to the provincial playoffs. So that's another thing, another exciting time for high school football and local football around the area. So check out your 6-a-side, your 9-a-side, or your 12-a-side game in your small town, wherever you may be.
Right on. All right, Benny. Travel safe, my man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Barney. Appreciate it.
That is the SJHL report with Benny Walchuk. It is for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time. Time for a short break on the Sports Cage. If you're tuning in and watching the stream at sportscage.com.
Did you know it's the best time of year to buy your Claws 2025 equipment? Get incredible savings with early order offers, like $20,000 off Lexion combines, $15,000 off Xerion tractors, $10,000 off Axion tractors, $15,000 off Jaguar harvesters, and $6,000 off Arion tractors. Make the best of every harvest with Claws, made for more. For full products and availability, visit claws.com.
The Saskatchewan Party will make life more affordable for students, for homeowners, and for families. We'll increase the amount students get back through the Graduate Retention Program. We'll increase the first-time homebuyers tax credit. We'll create a home renovation tax credit, and we will increase the active families benefit for children's activities. We'll also reduce your income tax and keep home heating exempt from the Trudeau NDP carbon tax. The Saskatchewan Party, making life more affordable for Saskatchewan people.
Authorized by the financial agents for all provincial Saskatchewan Party candidates.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Saskatchewan families are feeling the squeeze. Rising costs, long waits for healthcare. It's easy to point fingers at Ottawa, but let's be honest, change needs to start here in Saskatchewan. It's time for a provincial government that puts Saskatchewan families first, one that invests in healthcare, education, and crown corporations, a government that works for you. On Election Day, vote for a better future. It's time for change, right here at home.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Major League Hardball tonight in the Bronx. The Yankees are up 1-0 on Cleveland. They go out. Have you been watching that at all, Bidsy?
I have.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm. There's some people that wanted it to be, and I suppose still do. I guess to be an LA-New York showdown right from the start because it would be Aaron Judge versus Shohei Ohtani. But it's the two big cities. I always find myself kind of rooting for the underdogs, maybe the teams that don't spend as much. Although the Mets and the Cleveland Guardians definitely do have a healthy payroll. Just not like those other two teams. But I have been into it right from the start, I would say. The Major League Hardball, as you like to call it. Yeah, hardball.
Regina Pat Hockey is right here on 620 CKRM this evening. Dante gets the party going at 6:30 with the pregame show. Puck drop 7 o'clock. The Pats are up in Saskatoon to take on the 6-1 Saskatoon Blades.
Does Dante, he still just rocks the bow ties? He's strictly bow tie.
Yeah, I think he's
announcer, isn't he?
Bow tie guy. Yes, for sure.
He pulls it off.
936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln, text line, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. If you're playing Pick the Score, it's there. What is the score? We got a ways to wait. Calgary and Riders in a couple weeks' time. We are going to award 2 tickets to that game in the Wheel of Winning with Colson, all thanks to our friends at SaskTel for that. And then we have another fun one if you want to win Pats tickets for Saturday night against the Seattle Thunderbirds. We're asking, what was your favorite or the one you despised fundraiser? Either maybe it's you or maybe it was your kids. We went off on the bingo hall thing, which was great. Curtis still has more bingo hall stories for the last hour. Here's another, the skate-a-thon. That blew my mind.
Solid, yeah.
And then
totally forgot about that.
We had Jay chime in from up in that Q-Par area. I said late 90s, early 2000s, the old Q-Par Canucks used to do moving jobs. He says, LOL, something I can't say on radio, pianos and freezers.
Yeah. Armoires.
Yeah.
Heavy dining room furniture. You just, when you went to an older home, you're like, oh, their stuff is not going to be light like IKEA. It's going to be old school stuff. Solid oak.
Pay
heavy.
you guys to move Baba's armoire 8 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
No. That's okay. How much are fees? I'll just pay more. That's where I'm at.
Exactly.
Another hour of the Sports Cage in the Bucks. We got Glenn Suter coming up in hour 3 and a whole lot more fun. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Stream is at sportscage.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's mostly cloudy and it's 17 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Saskatchewan NDP leader Carla Beck says she would hire 800 new frontline health care staff if she's elected premier on October 28th. She says the new hires would focus on areas that would see the most need, like emergency care, surgeries, and family doctors. Beck says more than 4,000 healthcare staff left the workforce last year in Saskatchewan.
This has led to emergency room closures, service blackouts, and in the most severe cases, instances of patients dying in our province before they get the care that they need. This simply has to stop.
Beck has already announced an NDP government would spend more than $1 billion on health care. Meanwhile, Sask Party leader Scott Moe stated that a re-elected Saskatchewan Party government would extend the carbon tax exemption on natural gas and electricity used for home heating. Natural gas will remain exempt through 2025, and electricity will be exempt during the cold months. The exemption is expected to save families up to $480 next year, with Moe calling for the federal government to remove the carbon tax completely. American officials have opted against condemning New Delhi's response to explosive accusations Ottawa has leveled about Indian diplomats being involved in an escalating number of violent crimes. Yesterday, Ottawa announced the expulsion of 6 Indian diplomats after the RCMP said they believe Indian agents played a role in extortion, coercion, and murder. U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says Washington takes these allegations seriously, but would not comment on the substance of the new claims, nor India's decision to expel 6 Canadian diplomats.
I don't have any comment on that, but as we've said before, they're serious allegations, and we have wanted to see India take them seriously and cooperate with Canada's investigation. They have chosen an alternate path.
In Ottawa, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is calling for any Indian diplomats involved in criminal activity in Canada to face severe sanctions. Pulse Canada remains optimistic that the trade relationship between Canada and India is strong enough to overcome the latest political obstacle. The chair of Pulse Canada, Greg Cherwick, says they're confident the affordability and availability of pulse crops will continue to drive decision-making at a government level. He also said pulses are a staple food for hundreds of millions of people in India. The most recent trade numbers from StatsCan show Canada exported $5.3 billion worth of goods to India in 2022. And Christopher Reeve's children say they made a point to include all the complexities of their father's life in the new documentary Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, because that's what he would have wanted. The film includes hours of never-before-seen family home videos mixed with interviews and movie clips of Reeve, who famously played Superman in 4 films before he was severely injured in a 1995 near-fatal horse riding accident that left him paralyzed. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound. your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Producers have trusted LDC in Yorkton for over 14 years. Louis Dreyfus offers basic contracts that work for you, not against, plus paper blend moisture in green. The LDC driveway is open Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Summer delivery is filling up fast, so call 1-877-782-8882 or visit ldcyorkton.com. That's 1-877-782-8882 or visit ldcyorkton.com. Trust your canola to Louis Dreyfus Yorkton.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
A pleasantly mild day ahead coming up for tomorrow as a southerly breeze will boost the temperatures. It's a quiet week of weather overall for us. No significant weather systems on the horizon for us. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low temperature around 4. For Wednesday, mostly sunny skies and temperatures warming up to 22 for the high. Wednesday night, partly cloudy conditions, the low temperature near 6. A little cooler on Thursday as we'll have intervals of cloudiness along with periods of sunshine, the high around 15. Friday looks mostly sunny with near seasonable temperatures, the high around 12, and then turning milder on Saturday with mostly sunny skies, the high temperature reaching 17. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 14, Swift Current 21, Assiniboia 22, Yorkton Melville 13, Moosomin Broadview 13, Estevan 17, and Weyburn is also 17. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy, winds are from the south at 22, and it's 23 degrees. Regina is mostly cloudy, winds are from the southeast at 27, gusting to 41, and it's 17 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you big money at Matt's Furniture. From now until October 30th, save more with the Autumn Sweet Savings Event. Buy any 2 qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag kitchen appliances, like the Maytag Smart Electric Range with indoor grill, just $16.99, and save an extra $150. Buy 3 or more qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag appliances and save an extra $300. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936. 6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's been an awesome show so far on this Tuesday to start the week. Derek Bidwell, Coulson, Curtis, Barney Shinkrick, soon to be joined by Glenn Suter out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Speaking of food, we talked about this earlier, and we've been talking fundraisers. Maybe there's some sort of tie-in here with kids' fundraisers and taco time. Like taco time is just next level. Like that hot sauce, I always try and snag a few. Shout out Tammy. She owns all the taco times in Regina, or almost all of them. Curtis and I had lunch here today, and I try and always take like an extra hot sauce because I know when I'm making scrambled eggs in the morning, dabble it on there. Like, there's a fundraiser idea.
Yeah, right there.
Probably wouldn't sell that
why
many.
don't they sell? Or do they? Or did they try? Or was it ever in grocery stores? Because same thing. Especially more when I was a single guy, a bachelor. I had, in the fridge where you flip up the lid where you're supposed to put your butter. I had all that thing filled with ketchups and hot sauces and whatever you pulled out of whatever fast food joint you were visiting all the time.
Yeah, you'd go to 7-Eleven or the Max and pretend you're getting a hot dog and just grab your mustard and ketchup. That's the old radio days. Back in the day, you had no money. I was and then go to the bathroom and grab some toilet paper. Colson, hi.
The all-new Sportscage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glenn Suter is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
When times were tough back in the 80s, Glenn, for the Riders, you ever go into the bathroom and take a roll of toilet paper home?
just starting it off with that.
I really do try to anticipate the first questions every week when we do this. I could think for 1,000 hours and never come up with, did I get toilet paper out of a bathroom? No, I don't remember doing that, but
I love keeping taco. You. Yeah, taco time? Isn't it? It's a Canadian institution.
Yeah. Oh, no question. Yeah. And it's funny thinking about fundraisers and different fundraisers. I know the 50-50s alone, it maybe doesn't get enough hub for how much it does for amateur football when, most of the 50-50s across the country, probably all, I think I haven't specifically looked up each one, but I'm sure all of them are half the money is going to amateur football. Yeah. And what a big difference that does for the kids.
No doubt. Well, the 50-50 is like next level. It's like 50-50, then bingo, and then there's all the other stuff like bottle drives, cookie sales. Don't sleep on bacon sales. I'm learning. My wife taught me this. Bacon sales are and then any kind of meat sale around the holidays, you can always suck in some people for who doesn't want some kubasa over the holidays. Like, let's be honest. You go to a house.
And the booze baskets, as Luke Mullender mentioned, are big as well, too. The booze basket raffles around the holidays.
Luke's likes his booze basket. Hey, out there in British Columbia, it happened today. A lot of people think it should have happened before the game on Saturday, but it sounds like Vernon Adams is going to be slinging it again for the Lions.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to start against Montreal, and it sounds like after the scrum today that Rick Campbell, the head coach there, has basically said, if he gets on a roll and he's playing well and they beat Montreal, they could see this just continuing into the playoffs and playing VA, which is really saying something with the position the team took when they brought back Nathan. But if you go back and look at the timing, it's really quite interesting. So Nathan comes back to Vancouver when Vernon Adams was hurt. In fact, he was hurt for the first 2 weeks. So there really wasn't a decision to be made there for Rick Campbell. Had Vernon Adams been healthy at that point, and he had come off a game that was subpar. He started out 5-1 and was on fire. And then I think it might have been the Bombers, usually is when your offensive momentum gets shut down. But he had an average game and then got hurt. And that's when they brought back Nathan. So it wasn't really even a decision to start Nathan Rourke because Vernon wasn't available. So that went on for 2 weeks, and the play from Nathan wasn't great. Well, the entire team, but it wasn't the form that we saw back in 22 with Nathan Rourke. Then they play in Victoria against Ottawa, and Rourke looks great. And then they play in Montreal, and he looks good, and they beat the best team in the league in their home park. And all of a sudden, the discussion is, well, now you can't make a change. VA is now healthy, but now you can't make a change because Rourke is on fire. So, again, the coach saying, we're going to roll with the guy who's hot, and at that moment, it was Rourke. Now, since then, there has been 3 games when the entire team just has not played well. I mean, think about the first game, or the first play or second play from scrimmage for Rourke against Saskatchewan this past weekend, where it hit 9 different defenders, bounced into A.J. Allen's hands, and he took it back for a touchdown. Now, that is a perfect throw to William Stanback, and it goes back pick 6. I mean, there's of Nathan Rourke's, and I'm not building an argument to defend him. I'm just saying in Nathan Rourke's interceptions this year, I bet half of them are similar plays like that. So this team has got issues on defense, and it's got some issues with their playmakers that are way better than they're performing right now. Having said that, Rick Campbell has said all year long that even when they brought Nathan Rourke back, they wanted VA to be part of this process, and they feel like they've got 2 starters. So he's walking it like he talked it for about a month and a half, 2 months ago, when he said that. When Rick Campbell said, look, we have 2 starting quarterbacks. Right now we're going with Rourke because VA was hurt. And as it's progressed, he's going back to VA because this offense is stagnated. And so they're now going to see if this provides a spark, and then we'll see what happens with the playoffs. But if VA gets on a roll here, guys, he probably starts the playoff game.
I'm not going to say or ask if you think Rick Campbell will be on the hot seat after this. It all depends, of course, how things work out for the BC Lions and how the rest of their season unfolds. But it almost seems like I know what you mentioned. You mentioned that Nathan Rourke came in when VA was hurt, but it almost seems like there's been some type of, I don't know, from the outside looking in as a fan, almost some type of bumbling by how things have been handled by the Lions here at the end of the year, or is it just bad luck or things haven't worked for them? It just seems odd that they have fallen off so badly at the end of the season when they seemed to be rolling at different times during the year.
Well, they were red hot out of the gate. I mean, they were 5-1, and I think when you took VA's average offensively, he was around 350, almost 400 yards a game at that point. Their defense looked very solid. They had shored up and brought in some bigger guys inside, like Covington, to play inside on the defensive line to help stop the run, and I think they had success with that early. But since then, their defense has gone through some real tackling issues, and quite frankly, their defense has played soft and quite vanilla over the last couple of months. And I'm not taking anything away from the Saskatchewan win and Trevor Harris's play, because they earned it. I mean, he's red hot. That offense looks great. AJ Ouellette coming back, having maybe his biggest game of the year, now finally healthy. That bodes well going into the playoff run. So all of that, you just can't – don't take anything away from the Riders, who earned that win and went out and took it to the Lions. But, it's funny you bring up something seems disjointed, because if honestly, guys, if there are players in the BC Lion locker room right now that are saying, well, Vernon Adams was my buddy and he was hot and now he's not playing, so I'm not going to play as hard. If there are players doing that, they've got the wrong players. If there are players even, subconsciously doing that, they've got the wrong players. Because if they want to, not play as hard when there's a different quarterback playing, and I'm not sure if that's what you're suggesting completely, but I just, if that is the case, and there are players like the room is divided because some guys want VA and some guys want Nathan. If that's happening, shame on the room, because whoever's your starting quarterback, you better play your butt off for that guy, no matter who it is, because you're being filmed too. The game film shows you just as much as it shows the quarterback. And if it's not full on every single play, knowing your assignment, then you got the wrong guys and you got to make changes.
I think we can look at what happened to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against Toronto and go, and like the memes and everything on social media, you're saying there's a chance. You don't think Montreal is going to go at this, half keister here? They're going to go at this game in a couple of weeks full bore.
Yeah, I don't think, just the way Jason Moss is sort of preparing his team week in and week out. Like, I'll give you a quick example. I asked him about the turnovers they were creating early in the season. Now the Riders have become the best team in the league at that. But before, we got to the midway point, it was Montreal. Montreal was creating all kinds of turnovers. And I asked Coach Moss about that, and he said, we practice it in the work week. So when we're running a drill, the offense has the ball in his hand, the receiver, whomever. Our defensive guys are told and are practicing punching the ball out. And I said, really, aren't you worried that some guy's going to break his hand or break his thumb or something in a practice punching the ball out? He said, if you're scared of that, you're in the wrong sport. We're doing it every practice. So this is his mentality. I don't think they're going to lay down. Now, they're not going to probably play, I'm not sure how much Cody plays, if at all. Davis Alexander, continues to win games as a backup there. So I'm sure they're real comfortable with him, and he's playing for maybe a job somewhere else next year. Who knows? Like I know Montreal would love to keep him, but we'll have to see what the offseason brings with that. But I think he's going to still be auditioning. So he's going to give his best no matter what and, play great. So yeah, I don't think they're going to lay down. That doesn't mean the Bombers shouldn't or won't be favored in that game, but I don't think certainly they're going to lay down in it by any chance or by any stretch of the imagination.
Could be a lot of currently second-string quarterbacks that might be sought after to be first-string quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League next year. Glenn Suits, if you're the coach in a situation like the Montreal Alouettes are in, what do you think would be ideal for the players? I've had a lot of people ask me about this. Do they think, well, will Montreal's starters play the first half because they, of course, have clinched the East, so then they have a bye the next week and they don't want to go into that Eastern final flat and not having played for a long time? What would be an ideal playing situation, do you think, for those starters in that last game?
It's a great question because it's always the risk and reward discussion. The risk of injury versus the reward of not being rusty, the reward of keeping your game pace, keeping your intensity level high. And, you best get that when you actually play in games. Having said that, for me personally, and this is from years of listening to coaches, different philosophies, watching how it turned out. Sometimes that bye has been a problem for teams. They start so slow that they can't. That's why third place teams sometimes can sweep the playoffs and get to the Grey Cup and have many, many times in the history of the league, because that bye makes guys a little sleepy. But for me, it's always rest is more important. If there's any rust at all, hopefully mentally you're out of that problem as a player within a drive or two. Like by the end of the first drive offensively, all your offensive players should be back at the top level intensity and speed they need to be. And I just think the risk of Cody Fajardo following through and hitting a helmet as he goes to throw a swing pass that is a nothing play and a nothing game for them, and wrecks his thumb. And then he goes, well, it's not bad. I can tape it up. And you don't have 100% Cody Fajardo for the Eastern Final. That is not, to me, it's not worth the risk. It just isn't. So I would be, you can't, in our league, you can't bench that many people. Like you can't take too many starters out. There's just, the rosters aren't big enough. And, there's salary cap implications. Not that should matter, but I would evaluate a couple of young guys. If any receiver has a nick, like a little bit of a hamstring or maybe his knee's bothering him or something, he's out. And your starting quarterback, to me, is not playing. I'm not even sure I would dress him. I would dress Davis Alexander, whomever they want to dress over the next, even a Neglis guy who's been a practice roster player, dress him for one game. I know you got to pay him that day, but so what? He gets a chance to be on the field with his gear on and who knows, maybe short yardage or something. But no, I'm resting, especially your starting quarterback.
Do an extra fundraiser if you got to pay that guy.
Yeah, bottle drive. Yeah, maybe sell some bacon.
Taco time.
Yeah,
hot sauce.
What's when you look at weather and how it could change here, in the next 2 weeks, Glenn. What team in the West, and basically let's narrow it down to Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, is one maybe suited for the elements a little better? I know this might be a tough question, or is it fairly similar to what they bring to the table?
Well, when you say that, when you talk about weather, you talk about the physicality, the line of scrimmage, and the ground game. I mean, because if you get a real windy day in Regina or Winnipeg, it really affects the passing game, obviously. Even if you have the wind at your back, sometimes it's very difficult to be accurate when the wind is howling and it's cold and that kind of thing. So the passing game is affected big time. So you hope that the best rushing team is the team that would have the edge there. That's the prediction going in. Now, right now, that would be Winnipeg. And I know Rider fans going, oh, there he goes. He's cheering for Winnipeg now. But no, I'm not. I'm just giving you the facts. Brady Oliveira and what they've done at this time of year in the last 4 years, advancing to the Grey Cup, one of the main reasons for that has been Brady Oliveira. Brady Oliveira in that run game has been almost impossible to stop. Teams say it every time they go to play the Bombers, we've got to stop Brady Oliveira. And I've only seen one team come close, and that was last week against Toronto. Toronto did a pretty good job containing Brady Oliveira with their defense. So, that matchup, run game against run defense. Now, the gap between the number one team in Winnipeg and the number two team in Saskatchewan is really closing quickly here. With a healthy AJ Ouellette, that gap closes. With an O-line that's coming together nicely and basically the starters returning is helping. The quick release and play action game and underneath game by Trevor Harris and how accurate that is. Much easier to do that kind of throwing of the football in bad weather than trying to push it down the field deep. But he has been dissecting defenses underneath, and the receivers are picking up the extra 5 or 6 on their own. So you combine all that, and the gap between the number one team in my mind running the ball and would be a good bad weather team is the Bombers, but that gap has closed significantly. And I think AJ Ouellette's performance in this past weekend's game, wow, that bodes really well to close that gap and make it almost a pick 'em by the time you get there. But stopping the run on first down is huge, especially when the weather turns bad.
You talk about the quarterbacks, and we're talking about playing time and all this. And I had a buddy ask me this yesterday, and he said, "So what happens if in the first game, that the Bombers lose? So then the West final is still up for grabs, and the Riders can go for it. And obviously, if they win, then they claim it. But what happens if the Bombers win, though? Like basically, his question was, what's Corey Mace going to do with Trevor Harris? Is it going to be totally dependable on what happens in that first game that afternoon?
Again, I haven't talked to Coach about this yet. And so everyone will have a slightly different philosophy when it comes to rust versus risk and all of that thing. But if it were me, it would absolutely come down to that. I mean, prepare both guys.
Yeah.
But if the Bombers win and they have first place, Trevor doesn't play. If the Bombers lose and they have a chance for first place and one game at home to get to the Grey Cup in Vancouver, yes, I'm resting Trevor Harris. Just think back to 11:46 left in the game versus BC, a 3-touchdown lead by the Riders, and Trevor Harris gets sandwiched by 2 defensive linemen, one of which hits him high and gets him in the side of the head. It was a penalty. It wasn't on purpose, but it was a penalty. It was a hit to the head. And that was the moment Corey Mace looked at that situation and went, Shea, start warming up. Get Trevor the heck out of there. We've got a 3-touchdown lead. We probably should have done it before he went out for that that series. So, I'd be watching that game, and if the Bombers lose it, it's full on, let's go get the West Final. If the Bombers win it, then shut down Trevor, maybe even rest AJ, make sure he's ready and 100% healthy for that.
There's a lot of discussion for that next week. It's going to be really, really interesting. All right, Glenn, thanks so much. You got Maz and Dave on Thursday sitting here.
They probably are going to have any hot sauce topics or what did you start off with again? Oh, have you ever stole toilet paper?
Yeah. You got to keep Glenn on his toes. Always got to keep Glenn on his toes. Okay, have a good week, Glenn.
Thanks, gentlemen. I'm going out to get some tacos right now.
There you go. Attaboy. Salmon. Isn't that what he's big out there on the west coast?
Big fishing guy. Salmon and asparagus. He'd be a salmon asparagus
Speaking of, on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, get this one before we go to break. Sask Lotto Lawrence chimed in from up north. Here's a fundraiser. Had to carry chickens for girls' slow pitch for a fundraiser from one barn to the next. 3 to 6 chickens in each hand. It was not a good fundraiser. Most of the girls were scared. Probably about 300 yards between each barn. Only $750.
Oh, wow. So not a payoff. Odd one. Tough for the kids to rally around that one. I'd have to say I don't know. My cousins from Ituna could probably pull it off, but I would be the city boy they'd make fun. I don't think I could do that. I don't know. Not as a kid anyway. I'd have a chicken. They'd probably go after my eye. I could lose vision.
That just
There's a lot of risk there, and a lot of reward.
Seems really weird, and it'd be stinky.
Oh yeah.
Oh, would that reek?
Tough. There'd be a lot of people pulling the chute on that one day of.
It's the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching the stream, it's sportscage.com, and as always, we're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sportscage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
Are you in transition? We understand that hard work pays off, so let McDougall Auctioneers make it rewarding. Hi, this is Riley McChesney. Our retirement auctions are designed to honor your legacy and maximize returns. With our tailored approach, selling your asset becomes a seamless, profitable journey. Trust us to turn your hard work into a golden retirement opportunity. You earned it. McDougall Auctioneers, 1-800-263-4193, or visit us at McDougallAuction.com.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every game, home or away. And don't wait for the last minute. Get in on the amazing early bird prizes. Everything raised is used to support minor football in Saskatchewan. Support a great cause and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Sponsored by ISC.
No matter what is going on in your life, nothing in this world is more satisfying than giving to those in need. United Way is improving lives locally by helping kids be all they can be, moving people from poverty to possibility, and building strong and healthy communities. They're asking you to show your local love, donate, and support early literacy.
Visit UnitedWayRegina.ca to show you care. Donate and change the lives of people in need. Change begins with education.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles, to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all. at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Bidsy, 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line. The pick the score. People are all over the Riders in 2 weeks' time, or a little under 2 weeks, against the Calgary Stampeders. You can get in on it, and then Colson's going to award 2 tickets to that game today, the Wheel of Winning. Also, if you want to win the Pats tickets for Saturday night against the Seattle Thunderbirds, we're having fun with fundraising ideas. Before we get back into fundraising, we got to go to our clutch performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. All right, Nick's Service, they would love this. We're going female hockey. The U13 AA Rebels White. They won the, what was it called? The Calgary Thanksgiving Classic on the weekend. Calgary. No, I think they actually won it. This one, it's Calgary.
This one was in Calgary.
It's Cal
just outside.
apostrophe. Yeah. No, they took home the gold. They dumped Calgary in the final. So good on the U13 Regina Rebels White for bringing home the banner to Regina, mopping up the Alberta teams. Nice to see the clutch performers for Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Early in the year for those girls to be jetting off to Calgary to play in a tournament. That's where the fundraisers come in.
Yeah, I guess so. It's, things like Luke said, there's more traveling for the kids now, and these tournaments seem to be a lot more frequent than they used to be when I played hockey. Anyway, when I played hockey, Shank, it was usually they would have the parents meeting usually after one game. Say, all right, guys, okay, get undressed. Let's go get out. Parent meeting.
Oh, the parents get undressed. Whoa, I was like,
no.
What were your hockey teams like, buddy?
Get changed. Get out of the locker room. Parent meeting in the locker room. Then my dad would give me, a couple bucks to get a chocolate bar and grab myself a Wonder Bar or something.
Oh, really? That's the bar
ones.
You would go to if Dad gives you $2. You'd go to Wonder Bar.
One of the better ones. One of the high class chocolate bars out there. And then like at the Kinsman Arena or something like that. Then you run around there. You look for pucks, cause trouble, and then they'd come out and you'd be wondering what's going on, what's happening, are we going? Is it an overnight tournament? Is it an overnight tournament?
Yeah.
And when I was younger, yes, it would be, but it would be. We'd be usually once a year, maybe twice. And when I say overnight tournament, I mean Prince Albert, North Battleford. That's what I mean. I don't mean sometimes Regina, Moose Jaw, maybe. It wasn't until I got a little bit older that maybe they'd throw in a Calgary. Oh, I just about said it. I think maybe I did. Calgary or Edmonton. But normally it was PA, Imperial 400.
Boom.
Here we go.
Boom.
North Battleford, Tropical Inn.
Oh,
Water Slide.
I just drove by that on Saturday. The Tropical Inn still there buzzing at the top of the hill there in North Battleford. Didn't go in, but it still has a Smitty's. You get a nice poolside flapjack in the morning if you want. That was a facility. In the 80s, when that thing was constructed, North Battleford had the best hotel in all of Saskatchewan.
Well, especially for those type of tournaments or things like that. Yeah,
outstanding.
Put them on the map. It really was. It was like when the Saskatoon Inn probably arrived in Saskatoon, and it had because it had basically the tropical garden all on the main floor when you walked in there, right?
Yeah, but see,
something different.
Those hotels are kind of made more for the conventions or the weddings, and the Tropical Inn was just let the kids bang around on the water slides.
Yeah.
Parents get buckled around the pool rooms. They had it going on.
Hockey in the hallway.
Stick hockey all night. We don't care. Some of the fundraisers that have stood out today so far from people. Arash Madani. Arash is living a sheltered life, obviously, in Toronto, because when he was in in the Maritimes as a kid. They used to go door to door selling wrapping paper. Not a bad one. Everybody, for the most part, now people use gift bags, I guess, a lot.
And soap, apparently.
Wrapping paper still used quite a bit, I think. Gift bags is a guy's thing. What's Curtis saying?
Curtis...
Is he still about the bingo and the smoking?
No. Wrapping paper and soap, of course. It's the perfect combo.
Arash was saying about soap.
Yeah, something about soap, and then you brought up whether it was a body wash or it was an actual bar of soap.
Arash's wife is a Fight Club.
And then brooms. We had someone in the 80s, straw brooms. Perfect. Really good idea. Sell those out. I mentioned the ice salt that a team locally was selling last year. I bought it. I still got 3/4 of the bucket to use this year. Big fan of the bacon one that's out there now.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the bacon one? Because you said it was a special type of bacon, and you said it is amazing.
Mrs. S bought enough bacon. Maybe Rider playoff game, we'll cook some up, and I'll bring some to you in like a rolled up in some paper towel.
Are you set all the way till Christmas morning? Because the Christmas morning breakfast bacon, or not quite that long?
We will have bacon now till the Blackstone fires up again next summer. I'm confident.
Oh wow!
We'll be loaded on the bacon front. 936-6262. Hey, you know what's coming up, Bidsy?
Mm-hmm.
First off, the Edmonton Oilers are playing Philadelphia tonight.
Yep.
The Oilers are winless, and people
somehow
are
the Flames are unbeaten.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what is it, 3 games in? And I love it.
I know.
I was listening to the fellas in Edmonton this morning on the Nielsen show, and it's like they're calm about it. It's like, this is going to happen. It is going, and it might happen again this year where they just hit a rut and they can't get out of it. And that's just what's going to happen. The Oilers, I am not doubting them ever again. I was foolish last year. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but I'm not doubting them. Let this thing play out. Just hopefully they don't fire Knobloch or do anything stupid there. But what's coming up here, if you're watching the stream, I got it. It's the Keniston Super Draft. They are back with the Sports Cage for the next 2 weeks. You're going to hear us mentioning this. Now, this is a chance to win some real lettuce. In the world-famous Keniston Super Draft, over $90,000 total cash and prizes. The Super Draft, and then you also have the Super 8, the little Super 8 add-on at the bottom of the sheet. So we'll be playing this. We'll be going along and playing this for the next couple of weeks because the deadline is November 1st to get in. So just like the playoff draft, the Sports Cage is going to put one in. We'll see how we fare. But then, so Bidsy, it's like you select 32 players, right? So every team... It's giving you, so Anaheim, it only gives you 3 guys. But then some of the other teams like, let's say Toronto, you got 2, 4, so you got 7 players to pick from.
Or Edmonton, probably.
Edmonton, you got probably the regular cast there. Yeah, you got, Victor Arvidsson now is in Edmonton. A lot of people are expecting a big year from him. Then you got Bouchard, Draisaitl, Hyman, McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, and Jeff Skinner. But then you have the write-in. So this is where, and I think if Lotto Lawrence is listening out there, he plays this. He's actually done fairly well in this before. I think the write-in at the bottom where it's like guys that aren't, in the box, listed. And it's like, whatever, some rookie, let's say, you throw him in there, and I think that's where a guy can maybe profit. But then they also have $1,000 weekly prizes starting in January. So the Keniston Super Draft is back. Like I said, we'll be talking about it as we go.
Will you consult with the team, or will you just kind of? Because I remember when I started doing this with you, I think in May, April, May anyway. I think you said, okay, we got the Keniston playoff draft, and here's the deal, Bids. We're going heavy Nashville. And
I just bullied you into Nashville. I know. Yeah. I remember that.
And then I was like, so you've decided the teams we're going. You're like, yeah, we're going heavy Nashville. We'll sprinkle this, sprinkle that. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, it was all that.
To be totally honest, I wasn't confident in your hockey knowledge. So I thought I had to direct you a bit. Where Sharky gave me more resistance. Sharky, who's in here tomorrow, he gave me more resistance. And then he will definitely heckle and chirp me about that again. No, but this, you know what? We got to fill out 32 players. Mm-hmm. It'll be by committee.
All right.
So good luck on us agreeing. But this is the regular season, so you just take all the guys that are going to go in absolute heaters. Power play 1 guys, just don't overthink it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the whole thing will be like you said. Maybe it'll be the person that wins is the write-in, the guy that has the gal that has the best write-in at the end that no one else is taking.
Just someone that no one thought of. Like it's like, where did this guy play last year? What full slate of games in the National League? Oh, sorry.
You hear that, Curtis? Barney said by committee. That means we can share some ideas and he might listen to us.
Possibly.
Well, not you two.
Yeah.
The people out in Sportscage land.
They call us
talk to you about like fundraisers and stuff. That's it.
Name me 3 players that play on the Edmonton Oilers, Curtis.
Connor McDavid. Skinner. And give me a quick Google search.
This guy also played for the PA Raiders.
A nosebleed
but
trying to get the third one.
I did remember. I don't remember watching him. Funny.
Yuri
guys.
Curry. No, don't.
Yeah, yeah. Rayo Ruotsalainen. Wrong team. Philly's in Edmonton, as we mentioned. Vancouver's at Tampa Bay right away here. Chicago. Who's Chicago? Chicago is in Calgary tonight?
I have to double check.
Was that it?
Schedule right here.
Seattle's Nashville, San Jose, Dallas, Minnesota's in St. Louis, Washington's home to Vegas, Florida's at Columbus. That's going to be an emotional night in Columbus this evening with the Johnny Gaudreau. That's going to be a tough watch there. New Jersey and Carolina. So a ton of games in the NHL if you're thinking about maybe hitting them up, a little sprinkle of some sort. You can go ahead. A lot of Canadian teams. Yeah, Chicago is in Calgary.
Yeah, in Florida versus the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Bedard against the Flames. Yeah, the Flames are on a little mini heater to start the year.
Surprising everybody, including themselves, I think.
I really want to watch one night whenever I get a chance to do something like watch actually some. I want to watch the Celebrini kid, and it's the late game, so usually everything's done. Go in. They're in Dallas this evening, but from all accounts, he's been really good. Oh, we got more people chime in.
Fundraiser.
Ottenbright's meats from Grayson, pierogi sales always went over well. Yeah, we talked. That's like so good, especially around the holidays or pre-Easter, pre-Christmas.
Yep.
Smoked pork chops, smoked and unsmoked double paprika sausage. This guy's going way off. Bacon, beef jerky packages still to deliver. Ottenbright meats. Nothing wrong with that fundraiser as well.
Yeah, there was somebody that a former coworker though that was always big around Christmas time, and it was always pierogies and cabbage rolls, and we always jumped on that one.
Smart,
yeah,
very smart. Did a car wash and a dunk tank for charity. Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Car wash. I've never had to do one of those, but I know that a few people have done. And then if the weather doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You plan. You know what's another good one? Sherwood Co-op is always usually good for some of the groups. They do the hot dog sales outside of and you're walking to get some grocery shopping done on a weekend and you smell a pork missile on a grill. Good night. I don't care how much. Take my money.
Yeah, and here's the thing though. You trick yourself, not trick yourself. You convince yourself, okay, I'm doing this for the kids. And you tell the missus, I think we should do this for the kids. We got to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to walk right by that? Come on, we got to help them out.
Meanwhile, my cholesterol pills are at home staring at me when I get home. Oh, well. Best is still Girl Guide cookies, especially the chocolate. This could be a whole other debate, one show. Chikai. Girl Guide cookies, I think the white and dark ones, those, chocolate and vanilla.
Yeah.
Probably what they are. That's complicated. Yep. I figured it out. Trump in all day long on the mint. They're just for selling the mint. Nothing wrong with the mint ones, especially if you put them in the freezer for a bit. My wife just picked up a few boxes off one of her students. Awesome, but and they always trick you. Okay, which one? Hey, I'm buying some Girl Guide cookies. Now, which one? Is it the mint ones, or are you buying the chocolate and vanilla?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a traditionalist, a classic guy too, and plus the variety. I have a little bit of both. Yeah, I'm not going to turn down a cookie. either way of those options, but yeah.
I owe a girl that I went to elementary school with, like grade 7 or 8. We went to her house after school one day, a bunch of us misfits, and we found out that she was Girl Guides and all of her cookies were in the freezer, and we snafooed a bunch of them. If I knew her name, I would send her a check.
Yeah. I think
that was rude.
I think you got to make good on that one. Yeah. Down the road.
Love the Girl Guide cookies. When they set up around Mosaic after a Rider game, smart thinking parents.
Holy, I never even thought about that, but talk about.
That's what I told Jube Sale girls to go go hang out outside of a Rider game. People come out all buckled or going in. Doesn't matter. So I
got a quick one for you about Jubes really quick here. I don't know if you caught it. I gave an update on the sidelines. It was near the end of the game. The game was in hand, so it was just a lighthearted one, obviously, something just to have fun with. But so Trevor Harris took that hit, and then they were a little worried, of course, if he was hurt on that one or not. He came off, and Corey Mace's like, yeah, that's it for you. You're done, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm still good. Like, wants to still play. And I think he said something like, I've sat enough this year or something like that. And Corey Mace was like, no, man, no, you're good. You're good. Honestly, you're good. He said fine. He didn't put much of a fight. And then after that, so he handed off his helmet to somebody on the training staff. They just put it off to the side. And he said, what do we got for candy? And he went into the drawer there, one of the trainer's big drawers there, and he pulled it out. And inside, they had 2 big Ziploc freezer bags. What? And one had Skittles in it, and the other one had gummy worms. Jammed his head in there, and Trevor Harris jammed a giant mouthful of gummy worms in his mouth. Oh. Then you knew for sure he wasn't going back in.
It's the all-new Sports Cage. Talk a little bit of everything today on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
With the BF Goodrich Advantage TA Sport Tire, you'll get performance-inspired handling to put some life back into your daily drive, and with a 110,000-kilometer warranty, you'll do it for a long time. You may just wake up and say, I do want to add all today. Thrill your drive at Quality Tire with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
110,000-kilometer limited tread life warranty applies to T-rated tires only. See bfgoodrichtires.ca for details.
The NDP keep running down Saskatchewan. They called our economy a dumpster fire. They called our oil industry an nightmare. The NDP said there's nothing here to be proud of, and it's demoralizing to live in Saskatchewan. Tell the NDP they're wrong. Saskatchewan is a great place to live, and there's a lot to be proud of here. Vote for Saskatchewan. Vote Saskatchewan Party. Authorized by the Chief Official Agent for the Saskatchewan Party.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some will try to tell you 8 inches is enough. Others will say 10 inches will do. But when you want a lot of pizza, you gotta hanker down with the delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. Why mess with a good thing? You know what you want. 13 inches of pepperoni pizza perfection from Western Pizza. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
The government just asked us to save the world. They'll do it. They've made a few requests, so they want you to bring back floppy disks, pet rocks, and they all want Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Well, that last one we can do.
You don't want to miss a thing. That's why at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, they have so much to offer, like SaskTel wireless internet. Contact Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
Getting the urge to redecorate? Now's the time. It's Seco Days. Save up to 50% on Seco's best paints. Paints we're proud of for projects you'll be proud of. Hurry! Deal ends October 16th. Find your paint at seco.ca.
Anytime you see something our listeners should know about, call or text us. 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Sports Cage back here. Derek Bidwell, Barney Schenker, Colson, and Curtis today. Lots of fun on the fundraising front. Surprised that no one brought up the box of chocolate bars that used to, because it was the chocolate covered almonds, back in the day. And then I think peanut allergies kind of had a thing to the demise of that. But then there was the chocolate bars as well. It was, sorry, if you're watching the stream, I got to move over here. Curtis is coming to yell at me. Yeah, that was a big one too.
My dad went for anything if the kids knocked on the door. He was trying to help the kids, of course, or that's what he would tell himself. But my dad for sure, and I think Ray and Hope are listening right now, my dad, anything that came by with, which is chocolate. He's, okay.
Anything chocolate?
You know what, give me 2. How many are there? Or, they would say they're $5 or 3 for 12 or something. And give me 3. Yeah. The upsell. He always went for the upsell.
Hope, you got any cash on you?
Yeah. How much?
You got that 20 in your suede jacket from the bingo.
From the bingo that when you won. And it smells like smoke still.
Oh, if you didn't hear the bingo conversation, Curtis chimed in heavy on the bingo chatter because that was the ultimate fundraiser. You made the most money. If you could have a bingo, your team could roll a couple of bingos a year.
Mm-hmm.
It was over. Like you had the nice jackets.
It all done.
You had the nice jackets. You were staying 2 nights at the Tropical Inn or Imperial 400.
Yeah.
Bingos.
Team hockey bag, too.
But that was crazy back in the day. Now everybody has them. But back in the day, no one had team jackets or team bags.
Yeah, I was going to say. And to us, this is when you're kids. You'd be at some tournament once again. And, when, I don't know, some team from Calgary or Edmonton or, I don't know,
Sherwood
St.
Park.
Albert or something.
Sherwood Park.
Yeah, they come rolling in and you'd see them, like at the Gemini or some place like that or whatever, where you're kind of all mingling. There's games going on, but everybody's upstairs running around and you're like, these guys got jackets, sweats, pace setter sweats with their team name on the side, and they got hockey bags, and then they got stick bags. They got stick bags with their team. Oh, we stand no chance. These guys must be so good. All the stuff they got, we stand no chance.
Their goalie has colored equipment.
Yeah.
It's not brown.
Yeah.
and their dad's cologne smells different than our dad's because all of our dads have the same smell.
English leather. This guy's got some polo on or something. I don't know.
It was next level, though, a bingo fundraiser. And I know our fastball team got some bingo. We had bingos. Oh, did we have money? Inner city kids, right? Man, we had sweet jackets, bags, fastball, and we were deadly.
And you're deadly too. Well, then,
we were good.
Yeah. So you just looked the part.
Dante DeCaria coming up on this radio station at 6:30 with the pregame show. Blades and Pats puck drop 7 p.m. this evening. Bidsy, always a blast.
Yeah, some nice solid references on this show again, Shink.
We're gonna
a lot of fun.
We're going to have to regroup, come up with another good one next week. Colson, thanks so much. Curtis, thanks so much. Back tomorrow. Enjoy the Pats game. Saskatchewan, we'll talk to you in 24 hours.
Regina Pats hockey is back, and that net is wide open to renew your plates. When you take that big slap shot, do it online with Dusick and Barlow. Request a quote for anything you need. It's a true breakaway, and as easy as it is for the Pats to score that winning goal. When it comes to online plate renewal, there's no high sticking involved, just the most valuable players in the game. Your local Regina insurance brokers, Dusick and Barlow. Local owners, local business, saskinsurance.com.
When most people look at windows, they look right through them. When the guys at North Home